front. The atmosphere building here at Villa Park. 42,000 expected. Could be quite a cup tie. Aston Villa against Newcastle United, live at 5:45.
Thanks very much for that, Joe. Wow, it's really hotting up at the bottom of League Two. I mentioned that Barrow have just gone in front. They're 1-0 up. Shrewsbury leading Swindon 3-1. Shrewsbury also trying to avoid the drop. Harrogate won last week against Cambridge out of nowhere, and they've just equalised at 10-man Chesterfield 1-1. Tobias Brennan with the goal. Barnsley have got an equaliser against Wimbledon 3-3 in League One. Scott Banks with the goal. Blackpool 4-0 down at home to Plymouth have had James Husband sent off. Let's get to Fratton Park in the Championship. Ian Abrams.
We've got 3 minutes of normal time remaining. Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 0. Both sides are looking for this winner. Neither have really come close, although I have to say that Sheffield United now brought on Tyrese Campbell for Patrick Bamford and do look a bit more pacey up front. We've got 2.5 minutes to go. It's Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 0.
Let's get to Pride Park in the Championship. Talksport's Dave Rowe.
Closing stages here. Derby 2, Swansea 0, and nearly 3-0. They've scored from 2 set pieces already, and Adjaman, who got the second, nearly got the third with the header. Well saved by Vigro, who's also done well to keep out a shot by Burnell. Derby going close to a third on 3 or 4 occasions. Swansea have really dropped off in this second half. Just one effort by Nunes, saved by Vickers, and Franco couldn't put the rebound in. We're in stoppage time. Derby 2, Swansea 0.
And let's get the latest in the Calcutta Cup at Murrayfield. Alfie Reynolds.
7 minutes into the contest, it's Scotland 3, England 0. Pretty much all Scotland so far. Finn Russell with a penalty in the middle of the 22, an easy one for the Scotland fly half. England were penalised in their own 22 at the breakdown, and so far as Scotland move left to right, it's been a good start for Gregor Townsend's side that come into this game under a little bit of pressure. Early stages, Scotland 3, England 0.
In fact, we've got a goal in the National League. Halifax, who are in the final playoff place, lead 1-0 against relegation threatened Truro. Will Harris, 9 in 7 for the young striker. Let's former Sunderland youngster Will Harris was playing in League One for them 5 years ago. Let's get to St Mary's. Perry Groves and Alex Crook.
And it's still Southampton 1, Leicester 1. We're into the first of 5 added minutes at the end of this game, and Leicester have just had a golden opportunity to win it and avoid extra time here. It was a corner taken by Harry Winks down the Leicester left. A free header for Divine Mukasa, 6 yards out. He nods it over the crossbar as Southampton come forward. Perry, you keep telling me there's going to be a winner. We're running out of time.
Let's channel out in a Uri Geller, Crookie. Come on, put our hands on these screens we've got in front of us, because we've got 5 minutes to go. You said there, Musaka should have actually scored because of a brilliant delivery from Harry Winks from this left. Eansford moves right foot. You got in front of Long, you think it's going to nest in the back of the net. He's actually just gone agonising over from Leicester's point of view. But to be fair to both teams and both managers, they've actually been positive in their substitutions, and they're both trying to win this game. There is going to be a goal, Crookie, trust me.
3 minutes to get it. Southampton 1, Leicester 1.
Mansfield still leading up. Burnley will be there shortly, but Manchester City are through. John Dunn.
Manchester City 2, Salford 0. City through to the 5th round, but League 2 Salford did not make it easy. They made them work. They were ahead after 6 minutes. Ryan Nouri overlapping on the left. His cross turned into his own goal by Alfie Dorrington. Manchester City 2, Salford 0.
Goal in the FA Cup at Carrow Road, Mike Sewell.
Norwich are into round 5. Norwich 3, West Brom 1, and he scored again. Mo Toure with his 5th goal in 3 games. In fact, his 5th goal in 132 minutes of football for Norwich City. It was really well worked towards this near side. Brilliant control in the area by Anis Ben Slimani, who juggled it like Gascoigne against Scotland and then headed it across the 6-yard area for Toure to subsequently head it past Griffiths into the net. Norwich 3, West Brom 1, 2 minutes of added time left.
Well, Man City already through an own goal, and Mark Gahey beating League 2 Salford. What about the game at Turf Moor? This is going to be a shock. Chris Wellamo and Matt Jones.
It is, because there's 30 seconds of added time left, and it is still Burnley 1, Mansfield 2. Burnley have had their chances to equalise in this game. The best of them forming to Zian Fleming, who blazed over from inside the 6-yard box and knocked down to him, and he managed to somehow scoop it over the bar. And we've just seen Hartman have a really tame shot from inside the area saved. Hartman's whipping one into the back post now, and goalkeeper Liam Roberts claims it, and you can hear the cheer from the Mansfield fans because they think they've got the job done, Chris.
Yeah, I've got to say, I think Liam Roberts has done very, very well. He's done that time and time again. This second half come out, good hands, probably when he shouldn't have to as well, but just instills confidence. They've defended well, they've got that winning goal. Look at that.
Well, there goes goes the full-time whistle, and the cheers you can hear from one side of Turf Moor, drowning out the boos that you can hear from the home fans. That is a titanic performance from Mansfield. They were down at the break, 1-0 down, and to be honest, they hadn't really created many chances of note. Burnley, on the other hand, missed an absolute slew of them, but they did score in the 21st when Laurent skipped past the goalkeeper and slotted home. But Mansfield equalised on 53. Lovely deep cross by Noyle to the back post, and Oates climbed highest to head goal of the round. Reed from 20 yards to make it Burnley 1, Mansfield 2.
Right, we'll get more from Chris Owellamo on that very shortly, but Burnley made 9 changes. They're going down. Why didn't they go for it in the FA Cup? Incredible. Now, at long last, the breakthrough at Bratton Park. Ian Abrams.
Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 1, scored by Andre Brooks. Callum O'Hare to Tyrese Campbell. Campbell's ball across, spilled by Schmidt, and Brooks tapped in. Into the second of 7 added minutes. Brooks could be in again here. Schmidt out of his goal. It's Portsmouth 1, Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 1.
Yeah, goals as they go in. Let's head to St Mary's closing stages there. Perry Groves, Alex Crook.
Southampton 1, Leicester 1. We're dealing in seconds here before we go into extra time. Southampton in front right at the end of the first half. Kyle Larin from the penalty spot, countered out by Ollie Skipp's acrobatic overhead kick. 7 minutes after half-time, Leicester had a couple of golden chances to win it in stoppage time. Divine Musaka with a header over from a Harry Winks corner, and another Winks corner caused an almighty scramble inside the Southampton 6-yard box. In the end, it was Joshua Kwasi who had to clear from the goal line. We are going into extra time, Perry.
Yep, it was a Winks corner and Skip was on the goal line, or was it a Skip corner and Winks on the goal line? I can't really sort them two out, to be fair. But he said there it was a good bad corner from Harry Winks from this left-hand side, eluded everyone at the near post. It looked like Oliver Skip was going to get his second goal of the game, just nod it in from a yard. To be fair, brilliant defending from Kwasi. He had a big Inspector Gadget leg and just hooked it off of his head and hooked it away, and then it come back in, he headed it off the goal line. So the game was a real slow burner cookery, wasn't it? The first half was pretty sort of nondescript. The only really brilliant bit of play was from Edozie, who went on the outside of Akoli and got the penalty, and Larin put Southampton 1-0 up at half time. And both teams actually went for it. It was a proper game in the second half. The first half was more like a pre-season match, wasn't it, where sort of both teams letting each other have the ball. There wasn't any sort of tackles flying in. Now both teams realised they tried to win it in the 90 minutes, and now we've got another half an hour.
Yeah, 2 former winners of the FA Cup. Nothing separating them in the 90s. Southampton 1, Leicester 1.
Well, they've got to carry on, 1 apiece there, but it's all over at Carrow Road in the FA Cup. Mike Sewell.
Norwich City 3, West Bromwich Albion 1. Norwich going through with goals from Magoma, Crescene and Mo Torre. They dominated the first half after West Brom had made a decent start and took the lead just after the half hour through Magoma's header. But Josh Griffiths in the West Brom goal kept his team in the game. He saved 3 times from Matthias Quiscoren and then made a brilliant one-handed save from Jacob Wright at the start of the second half. It allowed West Brom, with the help of Alex Mowat, who'd come on at half-time, to carve out an equaliser through Josh Madger. But then Crescene, on as a substitute, sent in a beautiful shot, low grass cutter into the corner to make it 2-1 before Mo Torre scored his 5th goal in 135 minutes of football for Norwich City. Norwich 3, West Brom 1.
In the 96th minute, York go 3-0 up at Wealdstone. Rochdale have been held 1-1 at Yeovil. Those are the top 2 in the National League. But let's focus on the FA Cup. Mansfield of League One have won at Burnley 2-1. Norwich have beaten West Brom 3-1. Southampton and Leicester are into extra time after a 1-1 draw. And here at the Etihad, let's round up what happened, because Man City are through. John Dunn.
Manchester City 2, Salford 0 ahead after 6 minutes. Alfie Dorrington turning a Ryan Aït-Nouri cross into his own goal, but the floodgates didn't open as we expected. Salford frustrating City to shots from range, and just before the break, Ben Woodburn had an effort that was brilliantly tipped over the bar by James Trafford. Trafford called into action early in the second half to deny Kelly Namai at the near post. City finally getting the second 9 minutes from time when Mark Gahey steered home his first goal for the club from close range. That woke City up. Reinders had an effort just wide and Semenyo hit the post, but it's City that head through to the 5th round. Manchester City 2, Salford 0.
And we've got a couple of tries to tell you about at Murrayfield. Alfie Reynolds.
Well, how about this for a scoreline? 15 minutes gone, Scotland 17, England 0. What a brilliant start for Scotland. Hugh Jones and Jamie Ritchie scoring both of their tries. They have blitzed England here in the opening stages, punishing their ill discipline. Henry Arundel has been yellow carded, and in that period, 2 tries scored. Scotland needed a good start. Boy, have they got it. 15 gone, Scotland 17, England 0.
Well, there's a late equaliser in the National League for Aldershot. At Tamworth, 1-1. Charlie Warren, unknown from Bolton, the 22-year-old, has got the goal in injury time there. All the full times coming up at around about 5:15. Let's go round the grounds in the Championship for full times to Hillsborough. First of all, Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 2, and Millwall relieved, I reckon, to get the win in the end that maintains their strong promotion push. You might have expected the win to be a formality, but they've been pushed all the way really by the Championship's beleaguered bottom team, who actually took the lead here to everybody's surprise, ending a near 1,000-minute goal drought, only for Millwall to reply with 2 goals in 2 minutes. An own goal, the first one from Cole McGee, trying to clear just in front of the line, followed by a lovely deft finish from Macaulay Langstaff, who'd just come on for Barry Bannon. Bannon subbed on his much acclaimed return to Hillsborough, and when he left the field, his new team were behind. Jamal Lowe popping in the rebound after Millwall keeper Max Crocombe fumbled Charlie McNeil's 20-yard effort. Wednesday deserved it at that point, a really spirited effort, but that first goal in 10 league games finally counts for nothing. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 2.
And what happened at Deepdale this afternoon, Chris Hull?
Preston 2, Watford 2. Both sides started the day still dreaming of playoff glory and playing in the Premier League next season, with Watford's new 35-year-old manager Ed Still enjoying his first ever Football League game as a boss. Preston deserved their lead on 19. Whiteman delivered an inch-perfect cross to Dobbin, who glances home beautifully. Watford, however, came out in the second half a different side. Skipper Loser on 55 picks out Marmer, who cuts in and fires in brilliantly. Then 2 minutes later, the Hornets sub-bar with the cross, Keremgard with the beautiful flick, but it's gone down as an own goal for O'Fire, but Keremgard deserves all the credit. However, 20 minutes before the end, North End's returning striker Osmic, off the bench, left-footed into the bottom right-hand corner to secure a point. An absolutely absorbing and terrific game, and fitting on the day, celebrating the great Preston plumber Sir Tom Finney. North End 2, Watford 2.
Southend get a 5th against Morecambe 5-1. Boston get a 6th at Scunthorpe. Tom Curson's hat-trick, Scunthorpe 3, Boston 6. Crazy scoreline in the National League. Back to the Championship, to Loftus Road, full-time, Will Hobbs.
QPR 1, Blackburn 3. What a result for Blackburn. What a bounce generated by Michael O'Neill. Instantly, they were 1 win in 10 coming into this, but they've been well worth their victory here, grinding through 11 minutes of stoppage time as QPR pounded the area with crosses and shots from range. 2 goals from the returning Matthias Jorgensen, who scored either side of Koki Sato's equaliser. Then just after half-time, the man of the day, Ryoya Morishita, slammed his header high into the net after 50 minutes. Blackburn have blazed out of the bottom 3. QPR stranded in 13th. 4 points off the playoffs after Derby beats Swansea. Full time here at Loftus Road. QPR 1, Blackburn Rovers 3.
And that means Leicester City are in the relegation zone. They are 3rd bottom, 4 points ahead of Oxford and a point behind Portsmouth. And let's head to Pompey. Fratton Park, full time, Ian Abrahams.
Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 1. If Pompey do end up going down, not being able to score goals, especially here at Fratton Park, will be the main reason why. They dominated the game in the first half, had a Colby Bishop effort disallowed, and for much of the second half with a better team too. But in the end, putting the ball in the back of the net was what football is all about, and Sheffield United managed it a minute into 7 of added on time when O'Hare played it out to the left-hand side to Tyrese Campbell. His ball across wasn't held by Schmidt, and it was swept home from close range by Andre Brooks. A tint that the playoffs may be out of the question for Sheffield United because of the traffic between them and the top 6, but they are only 6 points now off of 6th place in the table, so maybe Chris Wilder will talk up their chances after they won here. 20,000 at Fratton Park saw it end Pompey 0, Sheffield United 1.
It's a crazy division. If you look at Swansea in 16th on 42, only 6 points behind the final playoff place, which belongs to Derby County, Pride Park, full-time, Dave Rowe.
Yes, Derby 2, Swansea 0. Only Derby's 5th home victory of the season, but a very significant one as it lifts them into 6th place. And yet you couldn't see it coming at half-time because Swansea were dominant in the first period. Credit Derby, though. They plugged the gaps to prevent Swansea's chances, and then they scored 2 set-piece goals in that second half. First, a corner from Callum Elder, bounced in the box for Ryan Brewster to finish at the second attempt. That's 3-3 for him. And also in form is Patrick Adjiman, the American striker, heading home the second, again from Elder's delivery from the left-hand side. That really rattled Swansea. They did go close with Nunes and Franco, but Derby missed clearer chances for a third. Not that that was required. Big win for the home side. Big setback for the previously in-form Swans. Derby 2, Swansea 0.
And in League One, the leaders Cardiff won 3-1 against Luton. What happened when second met third at the LNER? Jeff Peters.
They finished Lincoln 1, Bolton 1. Sam Dolby's 82nd minute header, his 5th goal in 4 games, rescued a point for Bolton. Their keeper Jack Bonham had kept them in it with some fine saves, as it looked like Jack Moylan's first half volley was going to win it for Lincoln, who were second with a 6-point cushion over the Trotters. Lincoln now 14 unbeaten, hit the woodwork twice either side of Moylan's delicious finish. Bonham was a busy man on multiple occasions, and with time ticking by, Irahan against his former club delivered a dipping ball into the box, which Dolby glanced beyond Wickens. End-to-end stuff, a great advert for the division in front of a full house, and the 1,700 travelling fans had something to enjoy late on. Lincoln 1, Bolton 1.
So Cardiff on 66, now 4 points ahead of Lincoln on 62, who are 6 points ahead of Bolton in third. But let's focus on the FA Cup. By the way, all the full times coming up for you in around about 10 minutes time, and that FA Cup tie at St Mary's, Southampton 1, Leicester 1. Extra time is ongoing in that, so we'll keep you updated with that. But we've got to go to Turf Moor because League One Mansfield have won 2-1 at Premier League Burnley. I just wonder, let's talk about the positives from Mansfield's point of view. First of all, Chris Sawelamo, the winning goal, the free kick from Louis Reed, sounds like an absolute cracker.
Absolutely outstanding goal, Adrian. I've got to say that Mansfield fans are still here singing away. You know, I think they've been an absolute delight today. Yeah, I've got to say it was thoroughly deserved. You know, I think the free kick itself, I think Florentino should get a red card. You know, it's high boot, takes Oates in the face, he gets a yellow card. Gavin Ward, the referee, sees it positionally fantastic. I think it's a goal scoring opportunity as well because the ball's right hand side of him. Ekdal comes in, he's there. He's not the last man, but again, it's there's definitely the contact there. But the free kick was absolutely outstanding. He's put the laces through it, the movement on the ball, and I've got to say, Vice is getting nowhere near it, right into the top left-hand corner, unstoppable. What a finish it was.
I've just seen it. It is absolutely superb from Louis Reed, and well worthy of winning an FA Cup tie and sending the Stags through to round 5. Is that a try at Murrayfield? Alfie Reynolds.
It is indeed. 23 minutes gone. Scotland 17, England 7. Back from the sin bin and over the try line. Henry Arundel scoring for England, receiving a short pop pass from George Ford close to the line. It was Hugh Jones and Jamie Ritchie with the early Scotland tries. England needed a response and they've got it. Just as Ollie Chesham has an interception for England as well. So we have an England response. Scotland starting brilliantly. Proper Calcutta Cup game going on here in Edinburgh. Scotland 17, England 7.
So Chris Sawelamo at Turf Moor, Burnley 1, Mansfield 2. Great goal to win it. Burnley, though, 9 changes. I was saying there just a moment ago, listen, they're going down. I think even Scott Parker, amidst all the fighting talk, knows they're going down. So why hasn't he gone for it in the FA Cup?
Well, we spoke off air when the teams came out, and it is a strong team. You know, he's chosen individuals that can go out there and get the result and get the job done. You know, and I feel that the players have to take responsibility for that. These players are knocking on the manager's door, wanting to play in game in, game out, and they've not delivered. The first half dominated the game with the ball, got into good areas, and yeah, they have to take those chances. Second half, they were second best all over the pitch. Mansfield, okay, they understood that they might not have more of the ball, but with the ball, they were direct, they looked more threatening, and that's a hard pill to take for Scott Parker. He has to do something about it. You talk about to be motivational. I think he's quite defeatist in his demeanour, and I think that's something that he has to protect the players. Okay, I think that realistically they probably are going to go down. It's still mathematically possible that they can stay up, but he has to create an environment that players can showcase. I think they're playing within themselves. And I think he's got to be a motivator in the right way, lead by actions. The environment of the training ground has to be an environment that they can come in and kick on. You know, I've been in that relegation battle in the Premier League under Mick McCarthy. You never knew you were in a relegation battle because he created an environment, the staff, everyone has a part to play. The players will buy into that and feed off that, and I don't quite get that's what's happening here. Everyone's playing within themselves and nowhere near good enough today.
So when you're saying that Scott Parker's defeated, so even though he's saying things like in his press conferences that, you know, survival is achievable, it's doable, those were the two words that he used, do you not think the players are buying into that? His body language says something completely different.
Well, do you believe him when I'm watching him? I look at it. You look at his demeanour. You know, he's quite. You know, he's very emotional, and that's something I think it's very hard. Of course, it's an emotional thing being a manager. You have a responsibility to lead by example. Now, yeah, you're under pressure to go and win any game, no matter what league you're in. But then the players have to buy into it. They have to look at the manager and say, right, okay, look at how he's holding himself. Well, the confidence is there. Let's go. And I just don't see it. And the dressing room doesn't have leaders. I sit and think about all the clubs I've had, you know, at Burnley, Graham Alexander, at Andy Reid at Charlton. You know, they go out and lead by example. They drag you up. They set the bar. You know, Troy Deeney at Watford. I don't see any leaders like that in this dressing room, and that's something that's very, very lacking. That's something that's needed to actually kick on as well. It's not all to do with the manager. There's players that can govern the dressing room as well. Doesn't happen anymore. The game's gone.
Let's bring in Scott Minto. He's at Villa Park for Aston Villa Newcastle, our commentary at 5:45, but he was also at Selhurst Park midweek with Burnley won by 3-2. And after that result and that performance from Burnley, Scott, you can't have seen this come in today.
No, and look, I totally agree with Chris in terms of the players can't be knocking on the door anymore because, I mean, yeah, he's made 9 changes, but you look at the players that are in the side, and naming just a few: Esteve, Florentino, James Ward-Prowse, Brun Larson, Lauren, Foster. Are you telling me that team that Scott Parker picked isn't good enough on paper before the game to beat a mid-table League One side? So for me, he's got to look at the players and say, hold on a minute, I'm giving you the chance, you need to step up. It's an FA Cup game. We've just had a really tough game, and you're right, I was at Selhurst where they were 2-0 down, and I'm thinking it's going to be 4 or 5. Somehow they found a way to get it to 3-2 at half-time. So great character to do that, and then brilliant resilience, defensive resilience to hold firm. And Palace could have played another 45 minutes, apart from the save right at the very end, and they probably wouldn't have scored. So I think Scott has picked a strong enough side to beat an average League One side, and I think he'd be really disappointed with his players.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. When I look at the 11, I think Burnley did have enough good players in there. He hasn't picked a side that said that he wanted to go out of the FA Cup. He's picked a side he thought would beat Mansfield, but they didn't. They lost to Mansfield. Let's get back to Murrayfield. Another try, Alfie Reynolds.
28 minutes gone. Scotland 24, England 10. It's the ghosts of Calcutta Cup's past that are haunting England in the opening half hour here. Scotland have their 3rd try. Ben White scoring it after Ellis Genge coughed the ball up when going back to collect it close to his own line. And as clinical as Scotland have been, England defensively have been so poor. They don't look like a side that are on a 12-game winning streak given what we've seen so far. 28 gone, Scotland 24, England 10.
Burnley 1, Mansfield 2. League One side knocking out Premier League on their own turf more. Here at the Etihad, Man City beat Salford, but only by 2-0. We're watching Neil Redfern's alongside me. Been on commentary for this game for TalkSport 2. We're watching a Ballon d'Or winner doing a warm down. Rodri doing shuttles up and down the pitch. But in the end, it was fairly comfortable for Manchester City. I'm a little disappointed in Salford. I kind of understand it. They got battered 8-0 here last season. They didn't want that to happen again. I think Carl Robinson wanted a kind of morale boosting result, not an absolute hammering, and he's got something, he's got a result that they can take positives from.
Yeah, I think exactly that, to be honest with you, Eddie. I thought first half they just nullified City. Obviously City had made big changes, all the big hitters were on the bench, and they limited them to little chances. I mean, they'd only 4 shots on target all the game, City, but it's when the big hitters came on, that's when, you know, the game changed, and they just didn't have anything to go up against that, Salford. And really, as a cup tie, it sort of played out as exactly what you described it. You know, it was a morale boosting game for Salford because they didn't get battered, but it was comfortable in the end, really, for City.
Yeah, I was disappointed when I saw the lineup from Carl Robinson. Dan Udo's got 7 goals, 7 assists this season. He's their main threat creator as well, and he was left on the bench, and I thought, you haven't really come here to win this game. And I get it. They're League Two. I understand it. And Man City are a squad made up of multi-million-pound brilliant footballers. But it was almost like he was waving the white flag before they kicked off.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it like that. I mean, the previous result that they had against City, 8, when they got beat 8, I mean, obviously, it finished the season and they just went downhill after that.
There's 1 win in 12 after that.
1 win in 12. So, you could argue that point. I just feel as a cup tie, the 20 minutes after half time, they came out, they had a little bit of a go, and they just started to wobble, City, and you're thinking, if they just get one here at 1-1, and the crowd start getting on the back, because the crowd was starting to just get a little bit impatient, come on City, come on City. And it wasn't until, like I say, Rodri came on and Semenya came on, Gay came on, that you could see the difference. Big hitters came on, made a big difference, got the second goal, and in the end, they could have got 2 or 3 or 4 maybe. But I think both parties will feel that they've got what they needed out of it, which, as a spectacle, is a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah. Mark Gay scoring the second goal.
Yeah.
He's already been knocked out of the FA Cup with Crystal Palace at Macclesfield. The new rule is you can play for 2 clubs in the FA Cup. This never happened in your day.
No.
Do you agree with it or not? Because something didn't quite sit right with me about it. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but it was a bit weird knowing that he's been part of one of the greatest shocks in FA Cup history, and yet he's still in the FA Cup.
Well, it's almost taken the individual out of the competition, really. I mean, that's what you're saying, is that that result didn't matter for Mark Gay at Macclesfield, but it mattered for the rest of his teammates, and then he's turning out again for Man City. So
he could go on and win the FA Cup this season,
possibly,
having been done by a National League North side.
Well, I mean, as the draws come out, and you look at the fixtures that they're going to get after this, as regards the run in the FA Cup, Man City, there's a good chance they could win this competition, like you say. So, somebody who's been knocked out so early on in the competition against an on-league side as such, a Conference North, National League North side, is it fair? Probably not, I would say.
It's a bit strange, let's put it that way. Neil Redfern and Chris Owellamo are going to stay with us to reflect on the FA Cup 4th round ties today. We've also got Scott Minto at Villa Park for Aston Villa Newcastle, which is coming up at 5:45, and later on Liverpool Brighton as well. But the only place for a full classified check on national radio is here, TalkSport. The results are in. Let's get the full times.
This is game day.
Full-time classifieds.
In the FA Cup 4th round, Burton 0, West Ham United 1, Burnley 1, Mansfield 2, Manchester City 2, Salford 0, Norwich 3, West Brom 1, Southampton 1, Leicester 1. They're into extra time at St Mary's. Villa Newcastle at 5:45 live on TalkSport, and Liverpool Brighton at 8 o'clock is live on TalkSport. Championship, Derby 2, Swansea 0, Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 1, Preston 2, Watford 2, QPR 1, Blackburn 3, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Millwall 2, League 1, Reading 3, Wycombe 2, Stevenage 1, Huddersfield 0, Barnsley 3, Wimbledon 3, Blackpool 0, Plymouth 4, Bradford 2, Peterborough 0, Cardiff 3, Luton 1, Exeter 0, Northampton 0, Lincoln 1, Bolton 1, League 2, Barnet 0, Cheltenham 0, Barrow 1, Colchester 0, Bromley 1, Notts County 1, Cambridge United 3, Bristol Rovers 1, Chesterfield 1, Harrogate 1, Crewe 1, Gillingham 0, MK Dons 1, Newport 0, Oldham 1, Fleetwood 1, Shrewsbury 3, Swindon 1, Tranmere 2, Crawley 0. In the National League, Braintree 0, Solihull Moors 0, Eastleigh 2, Boreham Wood 2, Gateshead 1, Brackley Town 2, Halifax 1, Truro 0, Scunthorpe 3, Boston 6, Southend 5, Morecambe 1, Tamworth 1, Aldershot 1, Wealdstone 0, York City 3, Yeovil 1, Rochdale 1, Forest Green Carlisle's at 5:30. National League North, Chester 1, Buxton 0, Chorley 0, Radcliffe 1, Fylde 3, Alfreton 0, Marine 5, Leamington 0, Merthyr Town 7, Bedford Town 1, Peterborough Sports 1, Spennymoor 3, Scarborough Athletic 1, Curzon Ashton 0, Southport 5, Hereford 1, Worksop 1, Oxford City 2. National League South, Chippenham 1, Maidstone 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Bath City 0, Dorking 5, Farnborough 3, Ebbsfleet 4, Totton 0, Hampton and Richmond Borough 1, Chelmsford 3, Hemel Hempstead Town 1, Worthing 0, Hornchurch 3, Tonbridge Angels 2, Salisbury 1, Chesham United 2, Slough Town 0, Horsham 0, Torquay 1, Maidenhead 1, Weston-super-Mare 3, Eastbourne 1. Scottish Premiership, Dundee 2, Livingston 2, Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3, Hibs 2, St Mirren 0. Scottish Championship, Morton 0, Raith Rovers 0, Ross County 0, Queen's Park 1. Scottish League 1, East Fife 2, Cove Rangers 1, Kelty Hearts 1, Peterhead 1, Queen of the South 1, Alloa 2, Stenhousemuir 2, Montrose 2, Hamilton Inverness is at 5:30. Scottish League 2, Annan Athletic 2, East Kilbride 4, the Spartans 0, Edinburgh City 0, Irish Premiership, Carrick Rangers 1, Coleraine 1, Crusaders 2, Bangor 2, Glenavon 0, Linfield 3, Glentoran 2, Ballymena United 1, Portadown 2, Larne 1. In the Cymru Premier Championship Conference, Penybont 0, Conisky Nomads 0, Carnarvon 0, Barrytown 2. And in the relegation round, Flinttown United 0, Britain Ferry 0.
FA Cup Live on TalkSport with McDonald's. The Big Arch is here to stay at McDonald's with its very own delicious sauce. Available from 11 a.m, subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
We're here at the Coral Fan Derby, where racing fans are ready to play Coral's Reward Shaker. Listen to that roar! Watch this, they're all being rewarded. We've got the tweeters shaking their phones. They've won a £5 free bet. The Ford Fanatics backing those special offers for the Cheltenham Festival. Play Coral's free reward shaker to win free bets and offers this Saturday. Oh, that's rewarding. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus, UK online only. Max 1 reward offer per player per day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Reward restrictions, requirements and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
So, for my pension investment, should I pay a flat fee or a percentage fee? A percentage fee will get bigger as my pension grows, but Interactive Investor's flat fee will stay the same, meaning I get to keep the money I make. Obviously.
It's raining. For over 500,000 investors, the penny's dropped. A Which recommended personal pension provider for 4 years running. Interactive Investor. I think, therefore I. Remember, when investing, your capital is at risk.
Hello, I'm the new Deal or No Deal scratch card from the National Lottery. The banker called. He doesn't think you have what it takes to beat him. But forget that guy. Play me today and you could be one of millions of instant winners and show that mean old money grabber who the real big deal is.
Pick up the new Deal or No Deal scratch card in store today. So extreme big play small. Rules apply. 18 plus.
Pleasure yourself with football. FA Cup Game Day live on TalkSport.
Coming forward towards the edge of the penalty area, still Chris Somerville. 1-0 West Ham. It has taken them 95 minutes. Hammer blow for Burton Albion.
Manchester City 2, Salford 0. Mark Gay's first goal for Manchester City will ease the nerves here at Etihad Stadium.
And what a story it is developing here. Burnley 1, Mansfield 2, and wait till you see this goal back. It is an absolute screamer from Louis Reed.
Norwich are into round 5, Norwich 3, West Brom 1, and he scored again. Mo Torre.
And an equaliser for Leicester from an unlikely source. Southampton 1, Leicester 1. Ollie Skip with the goal. Two former winners of the FA Cup. Nothing separating them in the 90s. Southampton 1, Leicester 1.
There are never any guarantees in the FA Cup.
Well, here's your FA Cup fourth round headlines. League One, Mansfield score a screamer to knock out Premier League Burnley at Turf Moor. It finished 2-1. Burton Albion are in the relegation zone in League One, but took West Ham to extra time. A deflected Somerville goal won it for the Hammers, who had Freddie Potts sent off. Man City beat Salford 8-0 last season, 2-0 this season. Mark Gay scored the second. He was knocked out of the FA Cup this season with Palace at Macclesfield, third round. Norwich eased through 3-1 against West Brom. Southampton and Leicester are in extra time. It is currently 1-1, and we are waiting for Villa Newcastle at 5:45. A quick look at the tables in the EFL. Middlesbrough and Coventry meet on Monday night at Cov, live on TalkSport 2. They're the top two. Millwall with a win at Sheffield Wednesday up to third, ahead of Ipswich, who got knocked out of the cup last night. Derby into the playoff places, ahead of Preston on goal difference. Leicester City drop into the bottom three after Blackburn won their first game under Michael O'Neill. In League One, Cardiff extend their lead at the top. They beat Luton 3-1. They're 4 points ahead of Lincoln, who are held at home by Bolton Wanderers, who are third. Lincoln 6 points ahead of Bolton. At the top of League Two, Bromley still unbeaten at home, but they were held 1-1 by 10-man Notts County. Bromley on 63, 4 ahead of Cambridge, who won. Swindon lost at Shrewsbury, dropped to third ahead of Notts County on goal difference. And in the National League, it's one of the top two for the automatic spot. York City have gone top. They won 3-0 today. Rochdale were held 1-1 by 10-man Yeovil. So that's going to be quite the climax to the season, and the two of them meet on the final day of the season. But let's get back to the FA Cup. Let's take a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Betfair.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
that 5:45 FA Cup fourth round tie. Aston Villa, Newcastle. Villa are 13-10. The draw is 2-1. Newcastle 7-5. First goal scorer market: Tammy Abraham 11-2. Voltemada 6-1. Morgan Rogers 13-2. And in the specials, Abraham to score one or more goals, one or more assists, one or more fouls committed, and one or more fouls won, 20-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
I'm pretty sure they're into the second half of extra time at St Mary's. Is that a goal there, Alex Clark?
It is indeed, and it may well be the winner for Southampton. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. James Bree off the bench has just headed home at the far post. It was Ryan Manning, the captain, who whipped a dangerous free kick into the penalty area. It actually flicked off the head of the Leicester sub, Patson Daka, and it fell kindly for Bree to nod beyond the stranded Stolarczyk, and surely Perry takes Southampton into round 5.
Yeah, I think the Leicester City manager Andy King is going to be really cheesed off because Bree was completely unmarked at the far post. It was a brilliant delivery from Ryan Manning from that left-hand side, just out swinging. Daka got the first contact, and then James Bree just lost his mark at the far post, just nodded past Stolarczyk, give him absolutely no chance. And you can hear the Southampton fans who've actually been bothered to stay in St Mary's Stadium actually getting off their nuts.
Perry's not happy because a lot of the home fans did seem to leave at the end of normal time. Those who have stayed may just have seen James Bree win this cup tie. Southampton 2, Leicester 1.
Maybe they didn't realise that there is extra time. Southampton lead 2-1. It's more bad news for England at Murrayfield. Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, we're almost reached half-time here. It's Scotland 24, England 10. England down to 14 for 20 minutes. Henry Arundel picking up his second yellow card of this first half. He took Kyle Steyn out in the air. A correct decision after the TMO got involved. It has been an awful opening 40 here for England. They will be able to bring someone on once that 20 minutes has expired. But 3 Scotland tries, the one for England. Defensively, Steve Borthwick's side have been so poor. The clock's in the red. Freddie Stewart is kicking the ball out. That will take us to half-time. Well, the Calcutta Cup so often delivers, and at half-time it is Scotland 24, England 10.
Wow, that's some second half needed for the English. Let's go back to Chris Owellamo at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, League 1 Mansfield 2. It sounded like Mansfield were always in the game, always going for it. They didn't sit back. Neil and I were talking about Salford basically being very compact, players behind the ball, didn't want to get a beating. Mansfield actually wanted to win the tie, Chris.
I totally agree. I think from the first minute they tried to match it up. I've got to say Burnley should have been out of sight first half. Adrian, never really posed too much of a threat. I think Rhys Oates had a goal disallowed, but it was a little foul on Ekdal. Second half, they were on the front foot, competitive, second balls, played more of a threat, had the better chances as well. Second half, got the lead and then managed the game, defended very, very well because they had a lot of pressure that last probably 10-15 minutes. So no, it was thoroughly deserved. I think, like you say, Nigel Clough has set them up. They never gave them any space on the front foot first half, but like you say, Burnley just had a little bit too much quality and probably should have been out of sight.
And let's bring in Scott Mintos at Villa Park for Aston Villa Newcastle. I want to talk to you about West Ham. 1-0 winners at Burton, but they needed extra time. Burton haven't won in 5. They are in the relegation zone in League 1. West Ham made 9 changes today. What's your thoughts on all that, Scott?
Well, I was on H&J yesterday afternoon, Aid, and I said, look, depending on how the lads are after the Manchester United game, got to keep that feel-good factor going. Got to be strong in terms of team selection, because the next few weeks is just Saturday. So there's definitely time to rest or just get players onto the training ground and get your tactics over. So for me, I was very surprised, should we say. I'm reticent to criticise Nuno too much. I think he is an excellent manager, and he does seem to have turned things around, and that's not easy at West Ham and the London Stadium with everything that goes on about the stadium as well. So yeah, I was surprised with that team selection, and he got away with it. It's as simple as that. I was listening to Piercy and Jim on the way up, and they were saying they don't know. I've got a couple of mates who were there as well, West Ham fans. They were texting me, leaving me messages saying, don't know which is the Premier League side, which is the League One side. Let's not forget, this is not just an average League One side like Mansfield. This is a League One side that was always going to be up for it, but have got a relegation fight themselves to go to the 4th tier of English football. So yeah, really poor, really. And yeah, it's one of those where, look, we got away with it, and we'll move on to the next round.
I think what I find interesting here is, I think West Ham fans, because of the upturn in form, you know, they've won 3 of the last 5, only 1 defeat in 5. Because of that, I think they're thinking, right, everything's going to be all right. I was listening to Carlton Cole on the Sports Bar Weekender last night saying, yeah, of course we're going to be all right. Everybody's positive now. Everything's going to be fine. Then he started talking about winning the title or getting in the Champions League. He was joking, obviously. But that's the mentality, that they're going to be all right, Scott. But your former club are still in a relegation battle. Now, I've had a message from a West Ham fan saying this is classic Nuno approach to the cup, and I hate it. They are through. They've squeezed through. They've scraped through, but they are through. And now they've got to concentrate on getting out of the bottom 3 because they are still in the relegation zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, first of all, what Carlton was saying, you know, you've got to be positive, because if you're not, then you will go down. Having said that, you can't be delusional. So there's a balance there, and making sure that we are in a relegation fight. We have a great chance of getting up if we play to our maximum and are completely motivated. But if we're not, we will go down. So you need that fear of failure as well. And I just want to add, I couldn't agree more with what Stuart Pearce was saying. I don't understand the mentality of, do you know what, let's make loads of changes. If we get knocked out, we get knocked out. There's nothing like the kind of change of atmosphere and feel of a cup game where every single day in training, not just match day where you're down there in a relegation zone, there's pressure, and horrible pressure at that. Whereas when you go to the FA Cup, and if you can get through to the next round, 1, you're through to the next round of the FA Cup. 2, you're winning football matches. 3, you know, if you've been losing 4 in a spin in the league and suddenly you win a cup game, which you could sort of say, I think it was the Tottenham game that was the turning point, but on paper it looks like it's the QPR game. It can just change that psychology of everybody in the training ground on a daily basis. So, yeah, look, again, got through, take that, but definitely in a relegation fight, obviously.
Scott, back with you for Villa Newcastle in just a second. Quick final word from Neil Redfern here at Man City, who've beaten Salford 2-0. I mentioned before the game, everybody's talking about, are Arsenal going to do the quadruple? Man City are still in for a quadruple as well. They probably haven't shown the ruthless, silky side, but they're capable, aren't they?
Well, they're on a good run. You know, they found a little bit of momentum at the right time, to be honest with you. Look, I thought Pep managed the game quite well today for his team. It didn't quite happen in the first half. Got the early goal, and you're thinking, here we go. You know, it's going to be like a big score again. You know, but you've got to give Salford a little bit of credit. But they killed the game as a contest as regards just being in a low block and making it difficult for City. But, you know, when the subs came on, you know, that was the difference. Particularly Rodri, for me. You know, he was pulling the strings in midfield. He was switching play when play weren't being switched early on in the game. And he made a massive difference, and he just filled the gaps that were missing. And obviously you've got Semenyo coming on, Gueye coming on. These are top class players, and it made the difference in the end. And 2-0 was about right.
Neil, great company. Thank you very much.
Cheers,
thanks to Neil Redfern. Thanks to Chris Owellamo as well at Burnley. More to come from Scott Minto at Villa Newcastle, which is coming up live on TalkSport. Southampton leading Leicester by 2-1 in extra time. We'll keep you updated with that here on TalkSport.
FA Cup Live on TalkSport with McDonald's. Got Big McDonald's hunger? The Big Arch is here to stay. Available from 11 a.m, subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
It's hard to find the perfect words on Valentine's Day, but M&S has your back. You can say, I heart you with a pistachio-filled chocolate heart. Or you make me all gooey inside with some melt-in-the-middle collection chocolate truffles. And if that's all a bit too subtle, there's the chocolate-coated strawberries and raspberries with I love you very much written on the box. Get it? This is not just food. This is M&S Valentine's food. Selected stores.
On average, Rift tax refunds get their customers $3,000 back. Search Rift tax refunds today.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Share the love this Valentine's Day with delicious restaurant deals for two from £30 on Deliveroo.
Ooh. Get bowled over by hearty noodles and curries from Pho. Or fall head over heels for flavour-packed wings from Wingstop. All delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Go on, share the love with Deliveroo. Order now. Subject to availability, selected items, fees, geographical restrictions and T's and C's apply, ends 15th of Feb.
On 1089
and 1053 medium wave on your mobile and your DAB.
Football's #1 super-fast Stadium Safari.
Live football as intense as we can legally broadcast it. The greatness, the goals, and the glory. FA Cup Game Day on Talk Sport.
There are 13 FA Cup successes between Villa and Newcastle, but neither of them have won the famous trophy since the 50s. For one of them, that wait will definitely be going on a little bit longer. That's because these two giants meet in the 4th round right now, live on Talk Sport.
Buendia gets it back for Marlon, and now Rodgers in the area. Low shot into the net. 2-0 to Aston Villa. Morgan Rodgers.
The competition is very difficult, and only the better team or the better competitive team can win this trophy. But we, of course, are today happy how we can feel this competition as another opportunity to get it.
Poking the ball through to Watkins. Watkins turning and shooting brilliantly. Edge of the area, thumping it in. That is a terrific goal.
We are here to try and win.
Gordon now will have a chance maybe to take on Neto. He does, right footed. Swings a dangerous ball in. Voltamada! And the double for Newcastle United.
Said so many times we loved last year in the Carabao Cup and what that meant to everybody, what that meant to us, the experience we went through to win the competition, and we'd love to do it in another.
Oh, give it away. Wisher, he could be in here, and he squared it to Anthony Gordon, and it's 2-0 Newcastle.
We just love the competition here, and we always will on Talk Sport.
Good evening, I'm Adrian Durham with you on Talk Sport for FA Cup 4th round weekend. Villa against Newcastle is coming up. It's Talk Sport's 301st live commentary of the season. You get more football with Talk Sport than anywhere else. It's not an empty boast, it's the truth. Already today in the Cup, his dad never won the FA Cup, and Nigel Clough's Mansfield won 2-1 at Premier League Burnley. The winner, a screamer of a free kick. West Ham needed extra time after making 9 changes at League One strugglers Burton. They squeezed through 1-0. Somerville's winner deflected. Freddie Potts sent off. Norwich cruised past West Brom 3-1. They're in form, the Canaries. And here at the Etihad, Man City beat League Two Salford 2-0. It was 8-0 last season. Mark Gahey knocked out with Palace at Macclesfield in round 3. Scored City's second. New rules mean you can play for 2 clubs in the FA Cup now. Macclesfield, Brentford, by the way. What a game that's going to be. Monday night, live on Talk Sport, and celebrity Brentford fan Natalie Sawyer will be a host at Moss Rose for that from 7 on Talk Sport. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talk Sport with McDonald's order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus free. Apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability, price may vary. Let's get a recap of the teams. Villa Newcastle with your commentator Joe Shannon.
And there are 7 changes tonight for Aston Villa, including a start for Marco Bizzett in place of Emi Martinez in goal. They've changed 3 of the back 4. Pau Torres, Victor Lindelof, Luca Digne, who captains the side, all come in. Concert, Mings and Maatsen drop out. Further forward, Leon Bailey makes his first Villa start since March of last year. Ross Barkley, his first start of the season. And Tammy Abraham comes in up front. Sancho, Watkins and Buendia are on a very strong-looking Villa bench. It's Bizzett in goal, Bogart, Torres, Lindelof and Digne, Onana, Barkley and Douglas Luiz, Bailey and Rodgers either side of Abraham up front. 6 changes for Newcastle. No Bruno Guimaraes, of course. He's expected to be out for at least a couple of months with the hamstring injury he picked up at Tottenham in midweek. Sandro Tonali comes in. Ramsdale replaces Pope in goal. Hall for Botman in the back line. Jacob Murphy, Nick Voltamada and Will Asula also come in. Just Asula's 6th start in the Newcastle shirt. Willock and Elanga and Anthony Gordon are the others to drop out. Ramsdale in goal, Trippier, Chow, Byrne and Hall. Jacob Ramsey up against his old club, and Sandro Tonali in midfield for Newcastle. Jacob Murphy, Nick Voltamada and Harvey Barnes behind Osula up front.
Joe, thanks very much. We'll speak to Scott Minto in a second, but full-time whistle has just gone in the FA Cup 4th round at St Mary's. Here's Perry Groves and Alex Crook.
And it's Southampton who come out on top in this all-championship affair. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. Super sub James Bree with the winner 4 minutes into the second half of extra time. Saints took the lead in first half stoppage time. Kyle Larin on his full debut, converting from the penalty spot after a clumsy challenge from Caleb Okoli that sent Sam Edozie tumbling on the corner of the 6-yard box. Ollie Skip levelled for Leicester 7 minutes into the second half. with an acrobatic overhead kick after Saints had failed to deal with the corner. Leicester had opportunities at the end of normal time to win the game. They couldn't take them, and it was Bree off the bench to head home at the far post after a free kick from captain Ryan Manning had been flicked into his path by Pats and Daka. Perry, did the better team win in the end?
I don't think, I've got to be honest, I think Leicester and the whole game in general play were probably the better side, and if you look at the stats they'll tell you that, but Leicester didn't quite have enough quality in the final third. The one big bit of quality it had was a fantastic overhead kick from Oliver Skipp, which got them back into it at 1-1. The first half of extra time sort of dropped off a bit quicker, didn't it? But then it picked up again in that second half extra time. Both sets of players were completely out on their feet. Brilliant win for Southampton. They're 6 unbeaten now, 1-5, drew 1. But for Leicester, they've had better days because they've just gone out the FA Cup and they drop into the bottom 3 of the Championship.
Yeah, they do. Leicester's miserable season continues, as Perry says, because of results elsewhere. They find themselves 22nd in the table, and the 2021 winners out of the Cup as well. It finishes Southampton 2, Leicester 1.
Well, what a day for Leicester, out of the Cup and into the bottom 3 of the Championship after Blackburn's win in Michael O'Neill's first game in charge of Rovers. They won at QPR. Villa Newcastle kicking off in just over 5 minutes' time. Let's bring in an FA Cup winner. He won it with Chelsea in 1997. Scott Minto is with us. Scott, we're going to talk about Bruno Guimaraes out till mid-April, we understand it. That is a massive blow for Newcastle. Who needs to step up for them in his absence in terms of leadership?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I've got those words in front of me as well. Massive blow. You know, he's their leader. He helps control games. He gets stuck in to get the fans going. He's the top scorer in the Premier League, and Newcastle haven't won a game in the Premier League without him. I mean, look, Tonali comes back in, doesn't he? Jacob Ramsey is stepping up and starting to show why Villa are missing him, perhaps. Looking forward to watching him today. Both of those two play together. You've also got Lewis Hall, who started there in the Chelsea Academy. And again, like today, Nick Voltemade is almost that number 10 second striker in a 4-2-3-1. So they do have options to do that, but there's no doubt about it. He's their standout player, and he will be a big blow as he gets towards the business end of the season.
Quick word on the Villa lineup. I'm always more comfortable from a Villa point of view when Morgan Rogers starts. It almost feels like Unai Emery can't leave him out.
He can't. I think it's almost feeling like Thomas Tuchel can't leave him out as well. He's playing that well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he'll probably play off the left, just coming into the centre that way, with Ross Barkley sort of pushing on as well in the sort of hybrid 8 to 10 role. Liam Bailey off the right and Tammy Abraham up front. But there's no doubt about it, Aid. Morgan Rogers is Villa's standout player. I mean, he's the equivalent of Guimaraes, isn't he, when you think about it? And you know, Bailey, Buendia, Sancho, they're just not quite top class. So if he's not stepping up and doing the business, they need to make sure they get over the line, because I think they're struggling a little bit. They look a little bit leggy again as we get towards the most important part of the season.
Well, let's hear from the two managers sharing their thoughts ahead of this time. Eddie Howe in a moment, but first Unai Emery on ploughing through without the likes of McGinn, Kamara, Tielemans and Cash.
Usually, as a coach, I had this problem a lot of times, and how I needed to take a decision, building the team, trying to some players being with the possibility to play in different position, being versatile.
We'd been so used to working with the same group of players, working one way, but a lot of those players, or some of those players, had left, and then we go into a new season with no pre-season and no training time with them. So I think that's very difficult, and it has ended up being inconsistent and a little bit up and down. Don't get me wrong, I think we could have done better, and that there's certainly things that we can improve, but I think longer term we'd be better for it.
There you go, that's Eddie Howe after Unai Emery. Quick word, Scott Minto, on Nick Voltemade. He scored in only one of his last 20 games. This is a striker who costs a lot of money, and he needs to start stepping up with the goals.
Yeah, Yeah, he does. But as Eddie Howe was saying, you know, you have to go back to the start of the season and what happened with Alexander Isak, and the fact that they brought in a lot of players late in the window, and then suddenly the games are coming thick and fast. And he started off the season really well, but yeah, obviously he has fallen away. Those stats are pretty damning for a striker. But he's never been your number 9. He's never been your guy to run in behind, run the channels, and score goals that way. He's sort of get the ball to him in the box, or he drops off and maybe makes those assists. So, you know, it's interesting. I don't know what's happened to Visser, by the way. He was on the bench midweek where Anthony Gordon was up front, and he didn't come off the bench, and he's not even in the squad today. So maybe he's picked up an injury in training, I don't know. But Osula, it's down to Voltemada and Osula to work together really well with Barnes and Murphy on either side. Can be a 4-2-4 at times, or 4-2-3-1, depending on where Nick Voltemada goes. But yeah, of course, strikers are judged on goals first and foremost.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's a knock. We'll get it confirmed why Visser is out after the game. Liverpool-Brighton follows this one live on TalkSport. Hugh Wozencroft is at Anfield for that, and he'll be with you at half-time of this game. It's last season's semi-finalist Aston Villa against the League Cup holders Newcastle United. One of the big boys is going to get knocked out live on TalkSport. Here's your commentary team. FA Cup winner Scott Minto and first Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Adrian, and good evening to you. These two great clubs have lifted the FA Cup 13 times between them, but not since the 1950s. It's been too long. But given Unai Emery's trophy-winning pedigree and Newcastle's League Cup triumph last season, perhaps for one of these teams
at this stage of the FA Cup in this season's competition, so no VAR at this game. I'm sure quite a few people will be delighted to hear that. But yeah, there's your match officials ahead of tonight's game. So Aston Villa are 7-time winners of the FA Cup. Newcastle United are 6-time winners, but it's been a long time since either side actually lifted the trophy. So Aston Villa last won the FA Cup back in 1957 when they defeated Manchester United at the original Wembley Stadium. And Newcastle United last won the FA Cup even further back in 1955. In terms of the Premier League table, Aston Villa currently find themselves in 3rd position, and Newcastle just inside the top half in 10th place after what's been a very inconsistent season so far. So in terms of how both teams got to this stage, so in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, again these were both all Premier League ties, so Aston Villa defeated Tottenham Hotspur away from home 2-1 thanks to goals from Emiliano Buendia and Morgan Rogers. And Newcastle scraped through to the 4th round of the FA Cup after a 3-3 draw at home after extra time against AFC Bournemouth, following a brace from Harvey Barnes and a goal from Anthony Gordon. But Newcastle edged that tie 7-6 on penalties. And just a reminder that there's no replays at this stage of the competition, so if we are level after 90 minutes tonight, we would go to extra time and, if needs be, a penalty shootout. So we'll be getting underway very soon indeed. Aston Villa in their home strip, in their famous claret and blue shirts, and Newcastle in their alternate strip here, in their away strip, a rather fetching bright green number. Green shirts and green shorts here as we're just about, green shirts and white shorts rather, as we're just about to get underway. So it's going to be Villa that will kick us off here in front of a packed Villa Park ground. It'll be Tammy Abraham to get things underway. So Villa shooting from left to right as I see it, and Newcastle shooting from right to left. And we're now underway here at Villa Park in this FA Cup 4th round game between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. As we touched on before, it's been a long time since since either side rather last lifted this trophy. Of course, Newcastle United won the League Cup last season, their first piece of silverware for a long time. Could this be the season, and could this be the year for one of these sides when it comes to the FA Cup? Villa pressing high pretty quickly here. Bailey just linking up with Abraham. Bailey again, could he get a shot in from the cute angle? He can't. He just manages to keep the ball in play, but then the ball just runs out into the gloves of Ramsdale, starting today ahead of normal first choice goalkeeper Nick Pope. Same for Villa as well. Second choice goalkeeper Marco Bizot starting ahead of first choice goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez. So Villa's defence just with the ball inside their own 18-yard area. They've just won a free kick here, foul committed by Voltemade on Onana. And so it'll be a free kick for Villa inside their own 18-yard box here. As we just wait for this free kick to be taken. When we've got time, we'll just run through some of the score lines from games that have taken place earlier on today in the FA Cup, because quite a lot has happened. There's been one or two surprises as well. So we'll run through that when we've got a little bit of a break in proceedings here. It's just gone out for a throw-in for Newcastle, well inside their own half. Now back to Ramsdale, just strokes the ball out to Newcastle's left-hand side. Bit of a nameless delivery though, that can't be chased down by Barnes. And Lindelof just steers the ball back to Bizot. So in terms of surprises, Burnley of the Premier League have been knocked out. They were beaten 2-1 at home by League One side Mansfield Town. So Mansfield Town are into the last 16 of this season's FA Cup competition. So there's a big surprise from earlier on today, whilst West Ham did get past Burton Albion, but it did need extra time for West Ham to get through into the fifth round of the competition. Free kick just given away there by Bogard, just pushing over Barnes. Now Barnes receives a quick free kick from Tonali. Tonali back in possession on this left-hand side. Just looking for some support here. Plays the ball low down to Voltemade, just on the edge of the 18-yard box, but it'll be reclaimed by Barkley. This is his first start for Villa since his return from an injury. And Villa have got quite a few injuries at the moment. One of the reasons why they've brought back Douglas Luiz for his second spell at Villa on a loan spell from on loan from his parent club Juventus. Come back to that later as Leon Bailey now just takes the ball up to the midway point inside Newcastle's own half. Now with Luiz in the centre of the park here, looking to link up with Abraham. Now with the ball on the right wing with Bogard. Short pass to his left hand side, finds Luiz. Villa pressing pretty high up the pitch here. And Luiz is taking far too long on the ball, and that's a really silly foul to give away, and he's got a yellow card, so that's the first booking of the game. Not a great moment there for Luiz, took far too long with working out what to do with his next pass. Voltemade got in there, dispossessed Luiz, and it was a cynical pull of the shirt there to stop Newcastle going on a counter-attack, and Douglas Luiz inside the 4th minute of the game finds himself with a yellow card to his name already. So I think Unai Emery will be particularly pleased with that one. Just waiting for this Newcastle free kick to be taken. It's going to be taken by Aaron Ramsdale. And just with Jacob Ramsey. Newcastle dispossessed in midfield, and now Villa will go forward on this left-hand side through Rodgers, but Rodgers is dispossessed fairly. Now Newcastle with Voltemade about 35 yards away from the goal line, just holding the ball up nicely there ahead of Onana, just waiting for the ball to be steered in from the right-hand side. Now up towards the edge of the 18-yard box here. Barkley just coming to Villa's rescue, just knocks the ball to his left-hand side, finds Digne. That's a nice ball from Abraham to Rodgers on this left-hand side. Just needs a bit of support here. He's got Abraham ahead of him, but he's also got Barkley up above as well. The ball is latched onto by Abraham. Now to Leon Bailey inside the 18-yard box. He goes for goal, but it's blocked straight away there by the Newcastle defence. But Villa back in possession, well inside Newcastle's own half. Bogard now to Onana. Quick 1-2 with Luiz. Oh, and that's not the best of deliveries there from Onana. And Voltemade will win the ball back for the visitors here. Newcastle with Jacob Murphy just sitting back to hold the ball up as well. Now Hall to Barnes, just on Newcastle's left-hand side, still inside their own half here. Just a reminder that there's still another game to come later on tonight in the fourth round of the FA Cup. That kicks off at 8 PM UK time at Anfield as Liverpool host Brighton and Hove Albion in another All Premier League affair. There will be live audio commentary coverage on Flash Score for that game as well. Back here though at Villa Park, Newcastle just bringing the ball up there to Ramsey inside the centre circle. Floated delivery from the right hand side, glancing header from Voltemade, goes a long way wide. In fact, it's still not gone out of play. Newcastle still have the ball here, and it's a great challenge from Onana to stop Jacob Ramsey from getting a shot in. Of course, Jacob Ramsey, former Villa player, came up through the youth ranks as well at the Villains. Now Jacob Murphy sends the ball back to Tonali. It's about 15 yards over the halfway line inside Villa's own half. Now Byrne, Chow to Tonali, makes up about 5 yards of space here. Back to Byrne, Chow again inside the centre circle. Now Hall on the left hand side of Newcastle's defence, who've pushed pretty high up now. Barnes, it's been a fairly lively start to the game. Just no clear-cut chances as of yet. It's the 8th minute of the game now. Just a reminder, no replays at this stage of this season's FA Cup competition, so if we are level after 90 minutes we would go to extra time, and if needs be, penalty shootout. Voltemade just with the ball inside the centre circle to his right hand side, finds Trippier, Newcastle captain for today. Nice ball lofted to the left hand side, finds Barnes. Barnes cuts inside Bogard and goes for goal. A very speculative effort, and that goes quite a long way wide of the target in the end. But that's Newcastle's first attempt there. Just a reminder of what else has happened though earlier on today in the FA Cup. So of course West Ham United, as we touched on before, have knocked out Burton Albion. Burnley eliminated by Mansfield Town in comfortably the most surprising result that we've seen today in the FA Cup. But Manchester City are through to the last 16. They defeated Salford City 2-0. Norwich City beat West Brom 3-1. Southampton needed extra time in order to eliminate Leicester City. It ended 2-1 after extra time there. And of course, as we touched on before, Liverpool versus Brighton and Hove Albion. That kicks off at 8 PM tonight in that All Premier League affair there. Now back with Byrne for Newcastle. Newcastle just being pressed quite high, being penned back a little bit inside their own half. They've done well to keep the ball here. Now spread the ball to the right hand side. Just kept in there by Murphy. It's in the end the ball runs loose, and that will be scooped up by Bizot. As we touched on before, just deflected ahead of the regular first choice goalkeeper Emi Martinez. Bizot has featured in a few games for Villa. Martinez has picked up a couple of injuries this season, so Bizot has certainly featured in the Europa League on more than one occasion. So he has also seen his share of action this season as well. Came in for Robin Olsen, who was the second choice goalkeeper at Villa last season. Right wing delivery from Newcastle, just is allowed to bounce inside Villa's own 18-yard box, but Villa's defence are able to eliminate the danger there. Barkley just trying to pressure Voltemade. Voltemade doing really well to just hold the ball up here. Now back to Tonali. Lofted delivery to the right hand side, finds Trippier, but it's an offside there on Murphy. And it's going to be a free kick to Villa on the left hand side of their defence. So it's going to be taken by Pau Torres. Torres just feeds the ball straight back to Bizot. It's the 11th minute of the game now. And Bizot's almost getting caught out there. Just a little bit too casual, but Villa keep the ball in the end. And now Lindelof, he's got about 40 yards here. He's now over the halfway line. A great run there from Lindelof, former Manchester United player. Now Rodgers feeds the ball to his left-hand side, finds Digne. Nice delivery from the French fullback. It's a good claim though by Ramsdale. And Newcastle back in possession. Now with Ramsey. Takes the ball to his right-hand side, finds Trippier. Trippier goes for an early through ball. Should be hoovered up by the Villa defence, and it is. Onana just feeds the ball back to Lindelof. Both teams, by the way, used to be fielding 4-2-3-1 formations, which is certainly customary for Unai Emery at Villa. So Abraham playing ahead of Bailey, Barkley and Rodgers, and Onana and Luiz sitting ahead of the back four of Bogard, Lindelof, Torres and Digne, with Bizot in goal. For Newcastle, Osula just playing ahead of Murphy, Voltemade and Barnes, with Ramsey, Tonali just sitting ahead of Trippier, Chow, Byrne and Hall in defence, with Ramsdale in goal. Villa still in possession then, just in the centre of their midfield. Nana just feeds the ball to Bailey, now Bogard. Back to Onana. Abraham just trying to make a run there forward for Villa, but Villa keep the ball with their defence. Torres, Luiz, back to Torres here. Good possession from Villa. Onana just keeps the ball ahead of Voltemade. And Onana not with a good delivery there though. Villa a little bit fortuitous to manage to restore possession. Torres just comes up to the halfway line. Now Luiz goes over into Newcastle's half. Abraham looking to link up quickly there with Barkley. And the referee is given a free kick here to Villa in a decent position. Let's have a look here on my monitor. Yeah, Malik Chow just coming in a little bit too strongly there. And slightly late, sending Barkley to the ground. So it's a free kick to Villa on the left of Stenton. Fairly decent position. Could even go for goal directly here as we just move into the 14th minute of the game. Still goalless between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. Morgan Rodgers just around the ball at the moment here. I think probably we're going to see the ball pitched in just in towards the 18-yard box, but I just wonder if Rodgers might fancy going for goal directly. Talking about 30 yards out, but it's actually, well, as I said before, left of centre. It is actually almost in line with the penalty spot. Rodgers, Rodgers, it's a bit of a dummy here, and Villa have got a chance. And it's Tammy Abraham that has given Aston Villa the lead here. That it was a beautifully well-worked free kick routine. Morgan Rodgers took many strides back, indicating that he was going to go for goal, but as he was striding back, it was a dummy move, and Villa actually do, in the end, rush the free kick. They chip the ball into the 18-yard box. Abraham is the quickest to react, and he places the ball out of Ramsdale's reach, and that is a fantastic free kick routine there, and it's Douglas Luiz who gets the assist, but I just wonder if there is an offside here. Oh, but of course there is no VAR at all, and so that goal will stand. I think there is actually a suspicion of offside, and I think if VAR was at the game, I think that would actually be ruled out. So Tammy Abraham has scored here for Aston Villa, chested the ball down brilliantly, and gets just enough on the finish to guide the ball past Ramsdale. So the goal will definitely stand. There's no VAR, and Tammy Abraham gets his first goal for Villa since returning for his second spell at the Villains. So it's Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. Tammy Abraham with the goal, Douglas Luiz with the assist, with a beautifully well-worked free kick routine. As we touched on before, Morgan Rodgers took several strides back, kind of giving Newcastle the impression that he was going to go for goal with a rapid attempt, but it was all a bit of a ploy. And then very quickly out of nowhere, Luiz just suddenly chipped the ball into the 18-yard area. It caught the Newcastle defence unawares. Abraham knew what was coming. You could tell from the big smile on Unai Emery's face that I think they've been trying that one out in training, and it's worked to treats there. Newcastle just going on the counter, but Asula's efforts going a long, long way wide of the target. In fact, I think that's actually gone out for a throw-in to Villa. So Villa then have the lead. Tammy Abraham with a goal in the 14th minute. Douglas Luiz with the assist. He took the free kick that led to the goal. So Villa find themselves 1-0 up here at home against Newcastle United at Villa Park, so work to do for the Magpies. Looking to play in a long ball to try and frustrate the Villa defence here, but Villa more than equal to that, and they've already pushed the ball out to Leon Bailey on the right hand side of Villa's midfield here, but Tonali gets the ball back. Now Byrne, Ramsdale, just in line with the penalty spot. Now Chow, who gave away that free kick, which has led to Villa breaking the deadlock here. Ramsdale, just inside the D, ahead of his own penalty area. Long ball from the England goalkeeper. Rogers gets to the ball first. That's a lovely turn there from the England international. Now Morgan Rogers going on a very powerful surging run here down through the middle. It's about a 40-yard run. Now to Barkley, now to Leon Bailey, just inside the penalty area. Into Abraham, but his close range effort is blocked. Then appeals for handball, but the referee waves away the appeals. Of course, as we mentioned before, no VAR, so no chance that could be looked at again. Bailey back to Bogard. Now Bailey again has had a good start to the game on this right-hand side. Jamaican international knocks the ball back to Onana. Confidence flowing through Villa here. Of course, they're looking for their second win on the bounce in all competitions. And a ball out to Digne, to Ross Barkley, who goes for goal, but he drives the ball right into the turf immediately, and it just took the pace away from the ball, and in the end it's a comfortable save for Ramsdale to make. Just having a look at my monitor at those appeals for a handball of Malik Chow, but I think that would have been very, very harsh if that had been given, so I think that's the right call there from the referee. Now with Barnes just in the centre of midfield, back to Tonali, Byrne, now Hall just over the halfway line. Now it's going to be a foul surely. Yeah, foul committed by Bogard on the right hand side of Villa's defence. Abraham has just gone down here, so we're just going to break in play. Tammy Abraham just speaking to the referee now, and also with Douglas Luiz, who's just holding his left ankle. And let's just see exactly how that came about. I'll actually have my monitor about the goal again that Abraham has scored, but it'll be a big blow though for Unai Emery if Abraham has already got to go off the pitch with an injury. That was a really well worked free kick routine. It's worked an absolute treat. I think they've clearly worked on that in training, and Newcastle ended up conceding from that beautifully worked free kick routine there. So we'll just wait and see if Abraham can continue here for Villa, because they have got Ollie Watkins available on the bench, so he can come on certainly if Abraham needs to come off, but it would be a blow if Tammy Abraham, who's only just recently joined Villa again for his second spell, has got an injury. Looks to be okay, just seems to be trying to run off the injury now as he actually just sort of canters off the pitch here, and it looks as if he is going to be able to come back on. Just takes a quick swig of water, and it looks as if he is going to be alright, but of course he's had to leave the pitch because he has been treated by a Villa physio. So back in, the match has resumed again here. Voltemade just on the edge of the 18-yard box, plays the ball into Trippier on the right flank, back to Voltemade. Now with Tonali, just receives the ball from Murphy. Now Murphy again tries to play the ball in from the right flank, right where the byline was. Ramsey just getting the ball back for Newcastle, but, as if he was offside there, but nothing given from the assistant referee nearest to them. And then Villa just play the ball out from their defence, and it'll be collected by Bird. Now into the 21st minute of the game then. If you've just started tuning in, you're listening to Matthew Rhodes here with live audio commentary coverage for Flash Score on this FA Cup 4th round game, where it's currently Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0 at Villa Park. Tammy Abraham breaking the deadlock for Villa, scoring in the 14th minute following a Douglas Luiz free kick. Lindelof just clears the ball away for Villa. Can't prevent a throw though for the visitors. It's going to be Hall to take. Now to Byrne in the heart of the Newcastle defence. Now Chow. Now to Voltemade. Hall. He's moving in onto his right foot here. Back to Byrne inside Newcastle's own half. Working nicely there with Barnes. Now Barnes cuts into the centre of play, goes past Louise, and that's a nice ball there onto the right hand side. Trippier gets the delivery in from the right flank. Will come out to Hall. Hall goes past the player here, goes down, but nothing given from the referee, although there weren't really much appeals there from any Newcastle player. Now Abraham is clearly fouled. He's brought down, and it'll be a free kick to Villa midway inside their own half. Good challenge in the end there from Torres. He needed to time that perfectly, otherwise it surely would have ended up being a penalty if Hall had been brought down there. So midway through the first half then, Villa 1, Newcastle 0. Villa looking to move into the last 16. Of course, Villa reached the semi-finals of last year's FA Cup competition before being comfortably beaten in the end by the eventual winners, Crystal Palace. Newcastle, of course, won the League Cup last season for their first piece of major silverware in a long time. It's been a strangely inconsistent season for Newcastle in the Premier League, but can they have a good FA Cup run here? Work to do if that is to happen. Just a reminder that if we are level after 90 minutes, we would then go to extra time, and if needs be, penalty shootout. So still a long way to go though in this game, as Villa currently have the lead here. Now Torres, just in the heart of the Villa defence, keeps the ball low down along the deck. Abraham is brought down by Byrne. Abraham has certainly been fouled quite a lot so far in this game. It's caused the Newcastle defence quite a few problems, and it is Abraham himself who has given Villa the lead. Now Newcastle just with Barnes on this left-hand side, inside Newcastle's own half. Now back to Byrne. Ramsdale is about 35 yards off his goal line here. Chow. Oh, and that's the best of balls there from Chow. Runs straight out to Louise. Ball runs out of play though. It's going to be a throw into Newcastle, just in front of the Villa dugout area. Just a reminder, by the way, of the substitutes that both teams have on offer for tonight's game. So on the bench for Villa, Buendia, Garcia, Contatc, Kone, Matson, Martinez, Mings, Sancho and Watkins. And on the bench for Newcastle tonight, Elanga, Gordon, Alex Murphy, Neve, Park, Pope, Ruddy, Shahar and Willock. Magpies just in possession now on the right-hand side of their defence. Chow, back to Ramsdale. Now Byrne plays a long ball right up the centre, but that will be marshalled expertly there by Digne, who's Villa's captain for today's game. Obviously John McGinn is out injured, who would normally be captain. Martinez is on the bench, Conser's on the bench as well, and Mings. So Luca Digne will be captain for Villa today, and the yellow card has just come out here for Malik Chow. A foul there on Morgan Rogers. Persistent pulling of the shirt there to stop that Villa attack in its tracks, and it's a booking that has been shown to Chow. So that's one booking apiece for both sides. Douglas Luiz is on a yellow for Villa. Now Chow on a caution for the visitors. So it's going to be Luiz to take the free kick. Talking about 45 yards away from the goal line, so we're not going to see a free kick in the same style as that one that gave Villa the lead. But Luiz going to go right up to the right-hand side. Nice first touch from Bailey, looking to take on Hall. Bailey looking to get past both Hall and Barnes, but Barnes has been able to win back possession. It's a poor ball though. Bogard will just feed the ball back to Bizot, who's had a pretty quiet start to this game, it has to be said. Not really needed to make a proper save yet in tonight's game. Still, of course, a long way to go. Looking to find Rogers with the long ball here. Loose ball runs out to Bailey, cuts inside onto his left foot, square pass to Louise. Nice ball there. Now to Digne. Nice delivery there from the French fullback, and it manages to find Leon Bailey, but his header is steered off target by a few yards. Probably should have done better there, the Jamaican international. He got into a great area, there's no one really around him. And yeah, he really should be at least hitting the target. Just looked as if he didn't really particularly want to head it. He wanted to actually get it down onto his feet. But that was a big chance, that, for Villa. But Bailey's header steered fairly comfortably off target to the end, but should really have at least forced Ramsdale into action here. Now Newcastle with Sula up top. A pretty quiet game so far. Newcastle lose possession. Bizot plays the ball away. Can find Abraham now with Barkley. Luis. Just midway down Villa's own half here, does well to just hold the ball up. Now Lindelof. It's the 28th minute of the game. Still Villa 1, Newcastle 0 after that goal. After 14 minutes from Tammy Abraham, his first goal for Villa since coming back to the Villains for his second spell. Now it's Ramsey, former Villa player, looking to go past a couple of players on his way up the centre there, going down just in front of the edge of the 18-yard box, but no free kick given by the referee. The ball will just run out to Bizot. Bizot goes long with the delivery, looking to find Bailey, headed away though by Hall. Bailey recovers possession now for the hosts. Moves the ball into the centre. It's a good challenge that came in though from Barnes. No foul given. Hall back to Chow. Now Tonali to Trippier on the right hand side, the Newcastle skipper. Back to Tonali. Midway down Villa's own half here on Newcastle's right wing. They've pushed everyone pretty high up the pitch now. Byrne just on the edge of the centre circle. Back to Chow. Now Trippier. Just linking up there with Ramsey. Chow again. Newcastle have had a fair bit of possession so far since the start of the game, but just haven't really been able to create a decent opportunity. But that's a poor ball there from Chow. Just put Barkley in a decent position, 25 yards out. Feeds the ball out to Abraham. Abraham with looking for a delivery to try and find Rogers at the far post. It took a deflection though off Chow, and the ball will be gratefully received there by Ramsdale. Now Ramsey to the left hand side finds Barnes. He's being pressured there by Bailey. Tonali to Barnes again on this left hand side. Just got Bailey around him. He's had a good start to this game, Bailey. It's probably been the best game I've seen him have since he's returned to Villa from his loan spell at AS Roma in Serie A. Hall just on the left hand side of the centre circle for Newcastle. Half an hour gone then. That's a good delivery there from Hall. Harvey Barnes inside the 18-yard box. Here he goes down. Appeals for a penalty, but nothing given from the man in the middle, who is Chris Kavanagh for today's game. I think Eddie Howe is particularly happy with that decision. It was definitely onside. It was a great delivery, but Barnes, I think, just going down a little bit too easily there. Just never so slight coming together with Bogard, and kind of just throws himself to the ground there, and the referee not interested. So no penalty, and as we touched on before, no VAR in this game, so there's no chance that it can be looked back here. Ramsdale now to Trippier on the right hand side of Newcastle's defence. Feeds the ball into the middle for Byrne to collect. Good first touch. Now moves the ball out to Hall. Voldemar almost just getting in the way of him there. Another good ball from Hall. That's a good anticipation from Bizot. He's able to win the race there. And is able to claim the ball. There's also a few FA Cup games tomorrow. We can just quickly run through as well too. So in the FA Cup 4th round tomorrow, Birmingham City host Leeds United, Grimsby Town host Wolverhampton Wanderers, Oxford United take on Sunderland, Stoke City host Fulham, and Premier League leaders Arsenal host Wigan Athletic. So they are FA Cup games for tomorrow. At the moment here though at Villa Park, it's Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0 after that 14th minute goal from Tammy Abraham after being set up brilliantly by a Douglas Luiz free kick. Now with Bailey just on the turn here, looking to go past Hall. Now just forced to go back here, and it's Voldemar that recovers possession for the visitors. Barnes. Now Byrne. Nice ball out to the right hand side. Trippier just in front of the Villa dugout area. Tonali has been penned in here towards the touchline, but has been able to win Newcastle a throw-in just over the halfway line stage. And it's the 33rd minute of the game. Chow. Byrne just coming over the halfway line now, just being pressured by Barkley. It's a good run by Byrne, but just as he thought he was about to receive the ball, Bogard got in the way there, but he's not been able to stop Newcastle from winning a throw on this left-hand side. Now just temporarily back inside Newcastle's own half with Chow receiving the ball from Tonali. Byrne just coming over the halfway line again, receives support from Hall. Back to Byrne. And it's a long ball this time from Tonali. It's Morgan Rogers helping out Villa's defence there. Able to win the ball. It's just coming under some pressure though from Murphy. Has to pass back to Torres. Now Rogers receives the ball again inside Villa's 18-yard box. Again coming under quite a lot of pressure there from Jacob Murphy. And ball in the end played out by Torres, but doesn't go very far. Newcastle back on the attack here. They've got a chance, and it's Harvey Barnes, but he rifles the ball into the side netting there. And that was Newcastle's best efforts of the game so far. Harvey Barnes set up brilliantly there after the best of clearances at all from Torres. Lovely link-up play between Barnes and Osula. That would have been a great assist there for Osula if Barnes had finished it off there. But in the end, his close-range shot hitting the side netting to Bizot's relief, and Bizot will now take the goal kick here, but that's easily been Newcastle's best opportunity of the game. Newcastle have now just won a free kick just inside their own half here. Should be able to just run through some stats very shortly for this game as the ball is fed back to Ramsdale. Keeps the ball along the turf here. We've got a stoppage in play, and it's actually an offside that the assistant referee is given. So far Villa have had 5 shots overall, 2 on target. Newcastle with 3 shots and none on target so far. So in terms of XG, Villa with an XG of 0.68 to Newcastle's 0.21. So it's the story of the game so far. Villa still hold this slender advantage. 10 minutes to go of this first half, plus any stoppage time given at the end. Attempted through ball from Bailey, but poorly played though. The ball will just run out harmlessly to Ramsdale. Now brought out of play here from Chow to Trippier on the right hand side. Back to Chow, who's on the booking, the only Newcastle player to be on the yellow so far in this game. Douglas Luiz with the only yellow so far for Villa. No substitutions made yet, by the way, from either Unai Emery or Eddie Howe. There was just seemed to be a slight issue with Tammy Abraham earlier in the game, but he has seemingly been able to run off that injury. Now Voltemade just inside the centre circle. Trippier. Now Ramsey. Back to Trippier again. And Newcastle end up losing possession there. And it's going to be a very cheap throw-in to give away there for Villa. Midway down their own half on the left-hand side. They just wait for the throw-in to come back into play. Now Luiz on the ball. Torres, Lindelof in support. In the end, just goes back to Bizot. Lindelof. Back to Bizot again here. Game's just slowed down a little bit here. Just the tempo has kind of dropped quite markedly. Rodgers as well to turn away from his man, Chow. Now knocks the ball to his left-hand side, square to Luiz, and now Villa very quickly going on the counter. Digne on the left-hand side, only about in line with the edge of the 18-yard box, and Luiz will go for goal from long range, and it's a good effort there, only just over the bar. Ramsdale was at full stretch. Have a look at the reverse angle straight away on my monitor here. Oh, goodness me, that was close. Really close there. It was an ambitious effort from Luiz, but he struck that very nicely indeed. And just hits the cable that's holding up the stanchion behind the goal. It was very close, only about a yard or two over the bar. It's had Ramsdale at full stretch there. So it's going to be a goal kick that Ramsdale takes now. Newcastle go long this time. 8 minutes to go of this first half, plus any stoppage time. And the Stewart just trying to hold the ball up here for Newcastle. Runs out to Voltemade. That's a decent ball. That's going to be, oh well, Trippier in a big race there with Rodgers. And it's Rodgers that wins out. So the ball actually ended up ricocheting off Trippier last. Nice handshake there between Trippier and Rodgers. And it is in the end going to be a goal kick for Villa to take through Bizot. Just a reminder again of the subs on offer for tonight's game. Of course, both teams allowed up to 5 substitutes, unless we do go into extra time, in which case an extra 6 substitutes is allowed. But for Villa, on the bench is Buendia, Garcia, Konsa, Kone, Matson, Martinez, Mings, Sancho and Watkins. And on the bench for Newcastle tonight, Elanga, Gordon, Alex Murphy, Neve, Hart, Pope, Ruddy, Shahar and Willock. Dan Burn in possession now. Villa cheaply giving the ball away there in the middle of play. Hall to Barnes, just over the halfway line, just shielding the ball away there from Bogard. Now to Chow, just on the right hand side of Newcastle's defence. Long ball floated in down the left hand side. He can find Hall, but gets his first touch horribly wrong. And the ball will run out for a Villa throw-in on the right flank here, as we may now move into the 40th minute of the game. Villa still find themselves 1-0 up here after that lovely Tammy Abraham finish from an excellent free kick routine that I think had clearly been worked on in training. Bogard with the long throw then for Villa. Comes out to Barnes. Now Bogard just having to knock the ball back to Bizot, who's had a fairly quiet start to this game. Headed away by Chow. Now Newcastle all of a sudden right back into, well inside Villa's own half. Jacob Murphy there looking to play the ball in with a cross delivery on the right hand side. Headed away by the Villa's defence. Newcastle retrieve possession though. Tonali. It's the ball about 30 yards out on the right of centre. Passes the ball to the right flank. Finds Chow. Trippier. Now Ramsey. Under the pressure from Abraham. Ramsey does well to keep possession though. Plays the ball square to his left. Finds Voltemade. Plays the ball to his right. Finds Trippier. Good possession here from Newcastle. Ooh, that's a late challenge. That's gone in there from Digne. Pretty needless as well. I'm sure the yellow card will come out here. Nothing has been dished out from the referee's pocket yet, though, but that was a late challenge from Digne on the Newcastle 23, Jacob Murphy, and yeah, the yellow card does now come out. I was going to say, surely that was at least a bookable offence. Oof. Yeah, the studs were up a little bit as well. I think Luca Dean can be a little bit fortunate here that there's no VAR to look back at this, because it was a very late challenge, pretty needless as well. Oh yeah, you can tell he's caught Jacob Murphy pretty badly there with the stud up. It's actually just to the side of where his shin pad was. It was pretty high up, and I've got to say, if VAR was at this game, that would surely be looking back at that as a possible red card offence, I would say. Because it was, I'd say it was probably an out of control challenge. The stud is up as well. It's left a nasty mark there on Jacob Murphy. And, well, it's a yellow card, but I honestly think that could quite easily have ended up being a red if we had VAR at this game. Just my take on that. But the game continues then. It resumes now, so it's going to be a free kick for Newcastle. It's going to be Trippier today, deep on this right-hand side. Delivery comes in from the England full-back here, and just comes off Lindelof before being claimed by Bizot. Around 2.5 minutes to go then, before we find out how much stoppage time there will be. It's still Villa who are just edging the game here, 1-0 up after that Tammy Abraham goal in the 14th minute. Bizot was just ended up running into Osula there, looking to distribute the ball quickly. Now Villa in possession in their midfield. Barkley to Luiz and to Torres. Looking to find Abraham. And Abraham with lovely delivery there to the right hand side. Just kept in play by Bailey. Bogard to Luiz in the centre of midfield. This is good play here from Villa. Luiz on this right hand side. That's a great ball there. Can Bailey get on the end of it? No, he can't, but has he won a corner? Yes, he has. It's come off Dan Burn last. And so it's going to be a first, I think this is the first corner of the game for either side here. Remarkably, after what we're in 44 minutes now, this is the first corner of the game. Villa have had 6 shots with 2 on target. Newcastle with 4 shots but none on target yet though. So it's going to be our first corner of the game then, and what can Villa do here on the set piece? Just over a minute to go before we find out how much stoppage time we're going to get here. So it's going to be Bailey to take the corner. Out swinger. Ball runs back out to Bailey. Second bite of the cherry here. And can Villa get a shot on target? No, they can't. Onana just feeds the ball back here to Barkley. Now Abraham plays the ball across the face of goal. Could have gone for goal himself. It's cleared away by Dan Burn. I think Burn's shouting at the assistant referee there. I think he felt there was definitely an offside. There's going to be another corner here for Villa. It's going to be taken by Leon Bailey again on this right-hand side. And I think Abraham, I think he was being a little bit too unselfish there. Instead of playing the ball across the face of goal, he could have gone for a shot there. Been a real threat to Newcastle's defence in this game. So can Villa double their advantage shortly before the interval? Corner's taken short. Now Torres, good turn, plays the ball in at the near post. Will just run out of play. And it's going to be another corner here for Villa on this right-hand side. So third quick corner in succession. It's going to be Bailey to take again here. And there's just going to be 1 minute of stoppage time. So this corner is surely going to be the last opportunity for another goal in this first half. So it's now actually going to be Digne to take, the Villa skipper. So from the right-hand side, it's going to be an in-swinger with his left foot here. Digne with the corner, glancing header from a Villa player, then before being headed out by the Newcastle defence. Bailey attempts to play the ball back in towards the 18-yard box. And what is Marco Bizot doing here? Bizot has brought a Newcastle player down. Bizot has been sent off. Marco Bizot has been shown a straight red card. He was miles off his line. Absolutely miles off his line. And now it's getting very fiery between the Villa and Newcastle players here. But Marco Bizot can have no complaints whatsoever. He was miles off his goal line. It was a late challenge. It stopped the Newcastle attack dead in its tracks when the when the net was obviously completely unguarded. And Marco Bizot can't have any complaints whatsoever. So Villa, they're in the lead, but they're now down to 10 men here. Bizot, well, still speaking to the referee, but he can't really have any complaints. So it was a very quick counter from Newcastle. Bizot, miles off his line. He ends up taking out Jacob Murphy. And you could tell from Murphy's reaction when he looked back, he was like, well, surely that has to be a red card. To be fair, the referee had the red card out pretty much immediately, and Bizot must have known what was coming. So Marco Bizot has been shown a straight red card. So Emiliano Martinez is going to come on for Villa. So the question now is, which outfield player does Unai Emery sacrifice here for the hosts? So Marco Bizot, straight red card. Martinez is going to come on for him, but we're still waiting to see which outfield player is going to be sacrificed here. Now we're 2.5 minutes into stoppage time, and Emi Martinez is only just putting his shin pads on, so that's why we've got quite a delay here. But I think you can tell from Bizot's expression, he knew what was coming. It was a no-brainer of a red card decision. And Bizot now goes down to inside the tunnel sheepishly. And so we're still waiting for Martinez to come on. He's now getting the gloves on. And who's going to come off there is Leon Bailey. That is going to come off then. So a little bit unfortunate there for Bailey. He's had a good game. And obviously they've needed to take an outfield player off.
Dynamic of this game has completely changed after Tammy Abraham gave Aston Villa the early lead following Douglas Luiz's free kick. They'd managed the game pretty well right up until first half stoppage time, when Bizot charged off his line miles out of his goal. The goalkeeper made an utterly idiotic challenge to scythe down Jacob Murphy and was subsequently given a straight red card. So the complexion has changed at Villa Park, but it's the 10 men of Aston Villa who lead Newcastle United by 1-0.
Absolutely fantastic. That is what football is all about for me. Okay, yeah, drama, entertainment, red cards, penalty shouts. We'll even have a discussion as to whether VAR should be in football after that first half, because it had just about everything. The Villa fans will be terribly pleased with the fact that the officials have given just about everything in their way, except for that red card. That Chris Kavanagh couldn't have done anything else than send Marco Bizot off. We'll get the opinions of Scott Minto in a few moments' time. Hello, an unfamiliar voice compared to Adrian Durham. I'm Hugh Wissencroft at Anfield. We got Liverpool against Brighton coming up on TalkSport at the end of events at Villa Park. Who knows when that will be, with Villa having to play the rest of the game, albeit a goal up, but down to 10 men. We'll be back very, very shortly. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on TalkSport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. It's 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability, and prices may vary. Let's head up to Murrayfield to find out exactly what has happened in the end of Scotland against England in the Calcutta Cup. TalkSport's Alfie Reynolds.
Where it finished, Scotland 31, England 20. England came to Edinburgh on a 12-game winning streak, but at a venue where they haven't won since 2020. The nightmares of matches and present came hurtling back to haunt them. Defence was poor and absent, and Scotland were brilliant and ruthless in capitalising on the England gave. Henry Arundel was shown 2 first-half yellow cards either side of scoring. During his 30-minute off, which 20 of those were a red card, Scott scored 3 tries. Hugh twice, one of when George Ford had a drop goal that was charged down the length of the pitch. Jamie Ritchie also went over, and Ben White scored when Kenge caught the line. England's dreams of a title hang by a thread. Grand aspirations are up in smoke, and Scotland, so poor last week in defeat to Italy, are up and running. They battered England here, who scored a late consolation try through Ben Earl. It's Scotland that win the Calcutta Cup. The full-time score, Scotland 31, England 20.
England's torrid record away at Scotland in the Six Nations continues. That will be celebrated widely in Paris, I am sure. And also a little bit earlier on, Ireland bounced back from their defeat in Paris, beating Italy 20 points to 13. Pretty unconvincing once again, but they got the job done in the end. England back to the drawing board. Remember, they go to face France away from home on the final weekend of the Six Nations. We could be set for a grandstand finish. Let's go back to Villa Park, though. Chelsea FA Cup winner Scott Minto, who's been watching the first half of Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. And on the stroke of half-time, what on earth was going through the mind of Marco Bizzo in the Aston Villa goal, Scott?
Mate, I've no idea. I've no idea. And you know, it's almost like you want to ask him that question. It's the first thing. Can we speak to him post-match, please? What were you thinking? Because like, it's not as if Newcastle were playing badly. They weren't. And they were really trying to get at Aston Villa. But Aston Villa were pretty much in control of the game, especially being 1-0 up. So why would you come out and race like that? There's absolutely no need. No need to do that. And I said it in commentary, I just feel like it was almost like you've got a 10-year-old in goal who's just bored.
Yeah.
And like, right, I haven't done anything for 20 minutes. I want to get involved in this game. And boy, has he got involved in this game. And Newcastle must be thinking, if we stretch the game, if we get them running, even if the last 20 minutes, we play at high intensity, make a few substitutions as well, just really get at them, tire them out. There's no reason why we can't score the equaliser and maybe even get the winner within 90 minutes, if not extra time.
The whole thing was schoolboy, Scott, to be perfectly honest with you. When you look at Leon Bailey, who tried a kind of half-volleyed diagonal pass when 5 or 6 Newcastle players were bearing down on him on the break, it went straight to a Newcastle foot. And they laid it straight to Murphy, who was running straight at the goalkeeper. Just all of it really, really amateurish from Aston Villa. And it was really surprising in the end. And for any Villa fans who were thinking that there was an Aston Villa player who was covering in behind Bizzo, the reality of the situation is the tackle was incredibly high. Contact was made on the knee. The ball had already been long gone. It was cynical. Everything about that challenge was what we don't want to see. Thankfully, Murphy is okay. And it was a nailed-on red card. And it was really something that spoiled the game for Aston Villa because everything had been going their way until then. Tammy Abraham got the goal on 14 minutes. VAR not involved in the game. He looked offside. He scored. I don't know if the world's going to end over it. The Premier League might be desperate for the FA Cup to get VAR back in as soon as possible because it might be making them look bad because, listen, I don't mind it, to be perfectly honest. A lot of these decisions haven't gone the way of Newcastle United in that first half, but the game is entertaining. It's exactly what we want.
Do you know what, Hugh, right? So I've always been for VAR. I don't mind if there's no VAR, I don't, right? But I've been for it, and less is more, have a very high bar and only clear and obvious errors. But if this game ends 1-0 and Newcastle are knocked out of the FA Cup because of a bad linesman's decision, then the Newcastle fans can turn around and say, what is going on here? So this is exactly why you need VAR, for these type of crucial moments. Less is more, don't get involved too much. Luca Digne on another day could have been perhaps given a red card. I personally think a yellow was fair enough, but you know, I've had a few people already telling me that they thought it was a red, but it wasn't a clear and obvious. But you know, the point is that for something that is clear and obvious, that's factual. You know, if Newcastle lose because of this particular goal, then they will be absolutely devastated and rightfully angry.
I tell you, the Luca Digne challenge, if that was in the Premier League, I think he might have got his marching orders. And when you look at the challenge that Bogard made on Harvey Barnes, a huge penalty shout for Newcastle United, I think in the Premier League it certainly would have been looked at. I think the referee would have been called to the screen. I think he probably gets a penalty for that as well. Bogard dangles a leg, doesn't make contact with the ball, ends up taking Barnes down, could easily be given as a penalty as well. But I've got to be honest, Scott, I'll take you way back, and some of you weren't around at the time, but I remember Paul Scholes scoring a goal against Porto. That was about 3 yards onside. They got given offside. We all know how that ended, with Jose Mourinho running down the touchline as Porto got a winner. They went on to win the Champions League. The world didn't end. But he became one of the best managers in the game.
You're not bitter about it, Hugh, no?
No, what I'm saying is, it happens in football. It has happened in football, right?
I know, but it doesn't make it right. For something like that, it doesn't make it right, and these are big decisions. We're talking about Premier League now, and I think it's right for the EFL because, you know, that's a multi-million pound industry. The Premier League is a multi-billion pound industry, and what I don't want is for any kind of lawsuits or anything. Maybe we're going off on a tangent here, but my point is, for something like this, and look, I don't mind being in the minority about it. I don't even mind being in the minority about if a venue in an FA Cup game can hold VAR and another one can't in the same round, well, that one has it and that one doesn't. I don't mind that at all. But
I'm for a level playing field across every single...
It's a level playing field for the two teams playing against each other. So,
I know that.
So that's the level playing field.
But if the same decision, if the Tammy Abraham goal happens at a ground where there's no VAR, they'll be saying, well, how comes Villa get it and we don't?
But because they can't do it. Then there's plenty of EFL clubs like Burton and Macclesfield that are not able to do it. If they're not able to do it and they haven't got the money to do it, both teams accept that going onto the pitch. The bottom line is VAR was brought in to try and stop decisions like this. And if that's offside and Newcastle are knocked out the FA Cup because of an offside decision, then that's wrong.
It's going to be a big debate, particularly if Newcastle United go out. Scott Minto will be back with you and Joe Shannon very, very shortly at Villa Park. A reminder, you can listen to the conclusion of round 4 of the Formula E World Championship over on TalkSport 2 right now from Jeddah, and following that from 7 p.m. it's live PGA Tour action from the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am at Spyglass Hill. But Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 0 at the break. The second half with Villa a man down is coming straight after this.
FA Cup Live on TalkSport with McDonald's. The Big Arch is here to stay at McDonald's with its very own delicious sauce. Available from 11 a.m, subject to availability, price and participation may vary.
We're into the thick of the season now, and so's Coral's Reward Shaker, with even bigger rewards and offers. The half and half scarfers, shaking decisively for once. They bagged a super boost. Next to them, the Prawn Sandwich Brigade. Oh, they've shaken up a free bet after that free lunch. Play Coral's free reward shaker to win bigger guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus UK max 1 reward or offer per player per day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Reward restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
All right, resistance up. Let's climb.
Okay, here we go. Oh, my knee's playing up again.
Have you ever had it looked at?
No, but I've been doing a few stretches.
When my shoulder went, Benenden Health got me expert help, showed me exactly where I was going wrong.
30 seconds, people.
Press play on your health with physiotherapy and much more, all for less than £16 per person per month. Search Benenden Health. Fee reviewed periodically. T's and C's apply. Qualifying periods apply for some services, including physio. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
With the Little Plus Bakery Spin, you can get a free bakery coupon every time you shop. Just scan Little Plus at the checkout, spin, win, and enjoy a free bakery item. Lidl. More to value. 1 spin per customer per day, subject to availability. Ends 25th of Feb. 18 plus GB only. T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
They expect you to stay quiet, to swallow hidden fees, put up with faulty products, and accept poor service as just the way it is. But you can demand better. Stand up, speak up, because with Which on your side, you can say no to bad business, buy with confidence, and get the service you deserve. Which, the power in you.
Find out more at which.co.uk.
Jack is in construction, totally unaware.
Unaware of what?
He could be paying too much tax. Jack's forever shelling out his own cash to travel between sites or buying tools.
Yeah?
So he may be owed money by HMRC. Rift Tax Refunds helps people get the money back. On average, over £3,000 back. Get the ball rolling. Search Rift Tax Refunds. Search Rift Tax Refunds today.
Share the love this Valentine's Day with delicious restaurant deals for two from £30 on Deliveroo. Get bowled over by hearty noodles and curries from Pho. Or fall head over heels for flavour-packed wings from Wingstop. All delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Go on, share the love with Deliveroo. Order now. Subject to availability, selected items, fees, geographical restrictions and T's and C's apply ends 15th of Feb.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Pleasure yourself with football. FA Cup Game Day on Talk Sport.
You're listening to FA Cup Game Day live on Talk Sport. I'm Hugh Wizencroft and the score is Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0 in the FA Cup fourth round. It's been a controversial opening 45 minutes. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights with McDonald's.
Halftime highlights on Talk Sport with McDonald's. Got Big McDonald's hunger? The Big Arch is here to stay. Available from 11 a.m. subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
Chipped in by Douglas Luiz. Abraham takes it down and scores! Right through the middle! Rodgers finds Barkley. There's a man over. It's Leon Bailey into the area. Cuts it back. Abraham. Good block by Chow. Coutinho down the inside left, pulling it back, and Barkley into the ground with the left-footed volley. Barnes now forward into the penalty area. Gets the return ball. Harvey Barnes has lashed it into the side netting. Suddenly Newcastle are clear on the counter, and Bissett is miles out. He's lunged in on Jacob Murphy, and he's off. What is the goalkeeper thinking there? He is miles off his line.
An eventful first 45 minutes at Villa Park. Aston Villa are going to have to play the rest of the game with 10 men. The impetus going in the favour of Newcastle United, but they'll need to come from behind if they're to claim a place in round 5. The second 45 minutes coming very, very shortly. That was thanks to McDonald's.
Halftime highlights on Talk Sport with McDonald's. Got Big McDonald's hunger? The Big Arch is here to stay. Available from 11 a.m. subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
Remember, we are inside Anfield. A little bit later on, Liverpool will host Brighton in another all-Premier League affair in round 4. We'll see who will make it through, whether we'll be here late into the evening with extra time. That could happen too at Villa Park. We'll bring you right to the conclusion there before we join events at Anfield. And there's been plenty of football up and down the country today as well. Let me just remind you of the FA Cup fourth round results. Burton Albion took West Ham United into extra time, but Crescencio at Somerville got the winner in extra time. Manchester City beat Salford City 2-0. That was live on TalkSport 2. A stunning free kick to win it from Louis Reed for Mansfield Town, who knocked out Premier League side Burnley. Elsewhere, Norwich 3, West Brom 1, Southampton 1, Leicester City 2. That one settled in extra time as well. And Port Vale against Bristol City postponed and rescheduled to Tuesday the 3rd of March. Let me hand back though to Villa Park. Let's hope for another cracking 45 minutes in the company of the Chelsea FA Cup winner Scott Minto and TalkSport's Joe Shelley.
Well, it was a controversial first half, but the second half is about to begin here, and much intrigue lies ahead with Aston Villa now down to 10 men. It was interesting watching Martinez come out to warm up right after really the half-time whistle went, the goalkeeper, because he didn't have a touch after coming on for Bizzett following that reckless challenge. Jacob Ramsey straight away for Newcastle, winning them a corner off Pau Torres. Newcastle corner in the opening 15 seconds of the second half, as the team playing from right to left in the green shirts, white shorts and green socks lay out their intent. The 10 men of Aston Villa playing from left to right in claret and blue with white shorts. They have it stacked against them, the odds potentially here, Aston Villa. Got to play a whole half of football at least with just 10. Corners taken short, now work back to Lewis Hall, square to Harvey Barnes to the edge of the D. Big deflection on that shot, and Martinez's first touch stops the ball from going behind for another corner. Aston Villa then lead by a goal to nil. Martinez is in goal.
Stroke of half-time as goalkeeper Marco Bizzot was shown a straight red card for a very late challenge, miles off his goal line, and Villa now down to 10 men. So Emiliano Martinez is now in goal for Villa, and Leon Bailey was substituted for Villa from Unai Emery. So Newcastle find themselves 1-0 down, but they do have a chance here with the door just ajar after that sending off there from Marco Bizzot. So it's an early corner then for Newcastle, just on the right flank. And now Tonali just moves the ball on to Lewis Hall. There's plenty of space here for an effort on goal, but it takes a deflection, and it will be gratefully received there by Martinez. Barnes with the effort there, which took a very heavy deflection. And a bread and butter save there for Martinez to make. Now Aston Villa will look to play the ball out from the back here through Lindelof up to Barkley, Abraham, Barkley again. Now Barkley just going over the halfway line, gets past one man but can't get past the second. Chow to Tonali, Hall. Now Abraham though in possession back for Villa. That's Paul Pasto from Rodgers that time round. Trippier just from the halfway line. Oh, and that's an offside there against Jacob Murphy. That stops Newcastle's attack in its tracks. And so it's going to be a free kick to Villa, well inside their own half. We're just waiting for the game to resume again here. As we now go 2 minutes into the second half. Just a reminder that if we are level after 90 minutes, there's no replays at this stage of the competition. So we would go into extra time, and if needs be, the dreaded penalty shootout. So Rodgers just got caught offside there for Villa, and it'll be a free kick for Newcastle from their defence, and already up to Trippier. It's gone pretty far on the overlap there in that right back role. Digne looks to clear the ball away. He's ended up winning a throw in here for Villa. Well inside Villa's defence, just on the left wing. Luca Digne, captain for Villa today, in the absence of, well, quite a few players who would normally have the captain's armband ahead of him, the likes of John McGinn, Esri Konsa as well, Tyrone Mings. McGinn, of course, injured, the latter two players named on the bench. Luca Digne will take a throw in again on the left-hand side. Unai Emery only just coming out of the tunnel. It's going to be another Villa throw-in to take. Just a slow start then to this second half. And the onus is on Newcastle to try and find something here, try and find some creative outlet for them to get back onto level terms in this game. So at the moment, Villa still look fairly comfortable when in possession, but of course, what impact will the extra man advantage be as this second half wears on, especially knowing that extra time is a possibility as well. So potentially Villa could go a long way in this game playing one man down. It's the hosts that have just won a throw in 15 yards over the halfway line on the right hand side. Comes in quickly, Bogard with a header, keeps playing Rodgers. Rodgers goes down but nothing given. It's going to be a throw in now to the visitors. Taken quickly. Now all the way to Ramsdale. Starts an attack from scratch then to Chow. Now Trippier, just over the halfway line. It's playing an early delivery along the turf, but it's marshalled there by Pau Torres. And Villa have now won a free kick after Douglas Luiz is brought down there by Jacob Murphy. Now, Villa still have 4 substitutes that they can make. Newcastle still with a full allotment of 5, so still available to come on for Villa. Buendia, Garcia, Konsa, Kone, Matson, Mings, Sancho and Watkins still available for Newcastle. You've got Alanga, Gordon, Alex Murphy, Neve, Park, Pope, Ruddy, Shahar and Willock. Now Villa looking to clear the ball out from the right hand side of their defence here. Just a bit scrappy at the moment this second half as Morgan Rogers looks to regain possession there for Villa, but to his disbelief he's committed a foul deemed by the officials. Newcastle take the free kick quickly. Now with Jacob Murphy, plays an early delivery in, that's straight into the gloves though of Emi Martinez. We now go into the 6 minutes of this second half. Martinez throws the ball out then short to Lindelof. Back to Martinez. Just takes the ball up to the edge of the 18-yard box. Takes his time here before a long ball. Tries to find Abraham. It just goes over his head. Goes all the way up to Ramsdale. Now Newcastle start another attack here. Trippier already inside Villa's half on this right-hand side. Plays the ball back to Chow. Now Byrne inside the centre circle. Onto the left flank here. Now it's going to be Hall to deliver the ball in just away from the byline, but it's cleared away by Digne. Abraham looking to recover the ball for Villa. But Newcastle well, it's actually a free kick to... Is it a free kick to Newcastle or Villa here? Looks as if it's actually a free kick given to Villa for a foul committed on Bogart. Looks as if it had gone the other way at first, but he's actually given a yellow card for a dive there on Harvey Barnes. So Harvey Barnes booked for simulation, was throwing himself down to the ground from the slightest touch there from Lamar Bogart. But initially it had been given as a free kick to Newcastle, and I think it was the same for a few Villa players as well. But it is going to be a free kick to Villa well inside their own half. Going to be Martinez, the goalkeeper, to take. He's urging the Villa players to move further up the pitch here, so he's clearly going to go long. And he does so there. Now to Barkley, just in the centre of midfield, does well to turn away past Voltemade. Tries to play in Abraham, but the ball is steered out of play, and so it'll be a throw for Newcastle to take. Now Ramsdale plays the ball short early on. Trippier quickly finds himself in the Villa half, midway down, has support now through Jacob Murphy. Back to Trippier. Chow, every Newcastle outfield player inside Villa's own half now, and you can tell that Villa's defence already having to sit back quite a bit here. Of course, if you missed it earlier on, Villa are down to 10 men. Newcastle looking to break here with Harvey Barnes on this left-hand side. Now receives support here from Voltemade. Big tussle between him and Morgan Rogers, the two number 27s, and it's Voltemade that wins that round. Passes back to Tonali. Floated delivery. Tries to find Trippier, but Trippier can't reach the end of it and receives some ironic cheers there from the Villa crowd behind. Anthony Gordon is just warming up here for Newcastle, so indicates he may be coming on sooner rather than later here by Eddie Howe. Just wait for Villa to take the goal kick. Just taking their time here with these goal kicks, as you can probably imagine. Villa have still got a long way to go here, playing with 10 men. So Martinez distributes the ball long once more, looking to find ahead of Rodgers. Won by Newcastle's defence though. Now with Ramsey in the centre of Newcastle's midfield. That's a nice pass to his left-hand side. Finds Hall. Now looking to play the ball into Barnes. Cuts onto his right foot. He's running out of space though. Manages to find Tonali. He's about 30 yards out from the goal line here. Chow plays the ball into the 18-yard box, and just for a split second there, thought Newcastle had the opportunity to go for a shot there with Jacob Ramsey. And Jacob Ramsey is furious with the assistant referee. He thinks it should be corner to Newcastle, but it's been given as a goal kick to the hosts, and Ramsey really not happy at all with that decision. It did look as if it came off Louise last. So the decision goes against Newcastle there. And again, Martinez will just take his time here before taking the goal kick. Goal kick comes in now, right into the heart of the centre circle, won by Louise. That's a long ball pumped in there, tries to find Abraham inside the 18-yard box, and Dan Burn does well just to make sure that he doesn't concede a corner there. So it's now a throw to the Villains in a good position on this right-hand side as we now move into the 56th minute of the game. Still Villa 1, Newcastle 0. Tammy Abraham with the only goal of the game so far. Now Abraham with the throw in to Morgan Rodgers. Rodgers has the ball on the byline. Got a whole plethora of green shirts to try and get through that. And Newcastle are able to clear the ball away in the end. Ball comes out to Torres. He feeds the ball straight back to Martinez. Best of balls to Lindelof, but he manages to maintain possession. Almost penned in towards the corner quadrant, and Martinez with a very risky pass out to Lindelof there. And Villa forced to play the ball out for a Newcastle throw. Now Ramsey with an attempted through ball to Tonali, but there's too much purchase on that. And it's going to be another goal kick for Emi Martinez to take. We're just waiting the release of the kick again here. So Villa still 1-0 up. Fairly tepid start to the second half, as the dynamic of the game has changed pretty drastically here for Villa, now having to defend this lead with 10 men rather than 11 after that straight red card was shown to Marco Bizot. Goal kick comes in, and we've just got a Villa player down on the turf here. He stayed down, but the referee is allowing the game to continue. Newcastle play down this right hand side, now cutting into the centre from Jacob Murphy. Abraham does well to get the tackle in though. Now Onana leading the line here for Villa. Got around 3 Newcastle players around him here. This is great work by Onana. Still keeps the ball, just needs some support. He's done really well to win Villa a free kick there. Really, really well indeed. Now he's tried to G up the Villa crowd behind him as well. It was Morgan Rodgers that went down for Villa. He is now back up on both feet. It was a strong challenge that came in there from Dan Burn. Strong aerial battle there. Rodgers is now back up on both feet here. Just holding his left shoulder, but looks as if he'll be okay to continue, the England international. But after Onana went down, Villa have got a free kick in a good position. It's on this left-hand side. It's surely too acute an angle to actually go for goal directly. But it is a very good opportunity, though, for Villa to pitch the ball in a very good position inside the 18-yard box in an attempt here to try and double their advantage against Newcastle. So it's going to be Digne to take the free kick, the Villa captain for tonight. Free kick comes in, so good delivery there, manages to find the head of Onana. Can only head the ball across the face of goal, though. Now with Torres, Barkley on this left-hand side. Plays the ball back to Lindelof. Villa have committed quite a few players forward here. Now Martinez, a long way off his goal line. Needs to just make sure he doesn't make Same error that Bizots did at the end of the first half, otherwise Villa. Barkley just loses the ball out. Now it's Tonali, plays the ball to his left-hand side, finds Barnes, back to Tonali. Ramsey trying to find some space in the middle here, around 30 yards out from the goal line. To Trippier on the right-hand side, plays the ball in a position where we're about 20 yards away from the goal line, but that's a poor pass though from Jacob Murphy. Trippier can't reach it, and it's a cheap throw-in to give away here as we now move on to the hour mark. Still Villa 1, Newcastle 0 after that Tammy Abraham goal after 14 minutes played. So Digne takes the throw. Villa keep possession in their defence. Luiz just linking up nicely with Digne. Abraham tries to maintain possession but just loses out to Jacob Murphy. Chow to Hall. To Barnes on Newcastle's left hand side. Voltemade trying to find some space here. Can't go for the shot. Can play it to Trippier though on the right hand side. Newcastle claiming for a penalty, for a handball, and the referee has not given the penalty though. Newcastle players are furious with the decision. As we've mentioned before, there is no VAR at this game. Oh, in fact, what? Oh, right, so the referee has ruled it's a handball, but it's outside the 18-yard box. And I must say, just when I first saw it live, it did look as if it took place inside the box. Well, goodness me, that's a horrendous decision from the referee, surely. Luca Digne is surely inside the box as the ball is played in. So I'm not too sure how it's a free kick to Newcastle rather than a penalty. I cannot believe that decision there from the referee. There's no VAR at this game. And that's a remarkable decision, surely, there from the referee for today's game, which is Chris Kavanagh. I mean, it has to have been given from the handball. That's why the free kick has been given here. But surely the handball offence took place inside the penalty area. I mean, that's an astonishing decision from the referee. The handball from Digne clearly took place inside the 18-yard box. So it's a free kick to Newcastle, and it's in a good position, just slightly towards the right-hand side. But I'm astonished that it's not being given as a penalty if the referee, as he clearly thinks, it is a handball. Free kick comes in here, and Newcastle have managed to equalise through Sandro Tonali. Sandro Tonali has equalised for the visitors in the 63rd minute of the game. So it's not the spot kick that Newcastle wanted, but they've still managed to equalise anyway from the subsequent free kick here. And it's Sandro Tonali who has scored in the 63rd minute here. When the free kick delivery came in, it was initially cleared away by the Villa defence. It was actually palmed away there by Martinez. Tonali was the quickest player to react, and from 20 yards out, it's a slightly deflected effort. So in fact, it's a big deflection in the end off the back of Douglas Luiz. So it comes off Luiz, and the ball, it completely wrong foots Martinez, the goalkeeper. But I'm sure that goal will be credited still to Tonali, even though it took a big deflection off Luiz. And Newcastle have got their equaliser. Quite remarkable circumstances, because it absolutely should have been a penalty to Newcastle, but for somehow or another the referee gave a free kick that Newcastle, the visitors, have managed to equalise anyway from that subsequent free kick. And it looks as if we're going to start to see some changes here. So Anthony Gordon has come on for William Osula, and Anthony Elanga has come on for Jacob Murphy in a double change here for Newcastle. So Newcastle made a double change, and Elanga on for Murphy and Gordon on for Asula, and Villa looking to make a change pretty soon as well. And Villa have now won a free kick themselves. It's Onana that's gone down, just bundled over there by Voltemade, and so it'll be a free kick to Villa inside their own half. So all to play for here. Villa 1, Newcastle 1, but Newcastle have the numbers advantage. It's 11 against 10 in Newcastle's favour here at Villa Park. And Villa about to bring on their, second substitution of the evening. Of course, Martinez came on in the first half to replace Leon Bailey after Marco Bizot was substituted. After Marco Bizot was sent off after, moments of madness, really, from the Villa second choice goalkeeper. We're just about to see here who's going to come off for Villa. And Tammy Abraham is going to come off here, and Ollie Watkins is going to come on for him. So Watkins actually coming onto the field just ahead of Buendia, but Buendia will now come on, and he's on for Ross Barkley. So there's your double change then for Villa. Abraham and Barkley have come off, and they've been replaced by Ollie Watkins and Emi Buendia. So that's the latest throw of the dice then from Unai Emery in response to Newcastle's equaliser through that heavily deflected effort from Sandro Tonali. So free kick then to Villa, just inside the centre circle. Ball played in from Torres, finds Digne on the left hand side. Digne goes down here in a bit of a tussle with Trippier. Villa have won the throw-in in a decent position here on the left hand side. Digne just awaiting to receive the ball here as Trippier just throws the ball out to him now. Looks as if the French fullback is going to go long. We just await the throw to come in now. So it comes in long then from the French fullback. Headed away initially by the Newcastle defence. It will be another throw in though to Villa on this left hand side. Ball came off Chow last, so going to be Digne again. Looks as if it's going to be a shorter attempt this time around though. Now Digne with the delivery, takes a big deflection. Ramsey can only glance the header away, runs out to Elanga before Villa are able to claim possession back. Louise tries to play in a through ball. It doesn't quite work out though, just runs out harmlessly to Ramsdale. Now Newcastle can break down this left hand side. Midway through the second half then, into the 67th minute of the game. Barnes just on this left hand side. That's a bit of a heavy touch though from Tonali, but Buendia is dispossessed quickly. Newcastle have got an opportunity here, but Pau Torres is just able to clear the ball away in the nick of time. And it's going to be a throw to Newcastle in a good position inside Villa's half on this left hand side. It's going to be Lewis Hall to take with the throw. Just dries the ball as much as he can under his shirt. All to play for here at level terms here. Villa 1, Newcastle 1. Of course, we can go into extra time and penalties as well in this game. This fourth round tie as the long throw comes in from Hall. Comes off the glancing head of Voltemada. Villa will look to break away here. Watkins manages to get ahead of his man. It's another bit of a controversial decision here from the referee. Watkins deemed to have pushed over the last defender back for Newcastle. And the Villa supporters not happy at all with that decision. Deemed to have pushed over Trippier, but now Newcastle back on the counter-attack here with Ramsey, and it comes off Louise, and Newcastle almost take the lead there. It's Anthony Gordon who drives the ball towards goal, but it's flashed just wide of the post, and that was a big opportunity there for Newcastle to take the lead for the first time in this game. Anthony Gordon, I just wonder if it takes an ever so slight deflection there off a Villa player. Don't think it did. Oh no, it did. It just took a nick there off the Villa defender. I think it was Torres. And so it's going to be a corner kick then for Newcastle on this left-hand side as the visitors gain further momentum here. So they've now got a corner to take on this left-hand side. It's going to be taken by Kieran Trippier. Just waiting for the delivery of the corner to come in now. We've got a Villa player down on the turf here. Dan Burns stands above him. Now what happens here then? Emi Buendia, no, it's not Buendia, it's Torres that was pushed over. Pau Torres was pushed over to the ground. I'm not sure which Newcastle player it was that ended up doing that there. But seems to be something of nothing, and Torres is now back up on both feet. And we're okay to continue again. So a bit of a coming together between Dan Burn and Pau Torres. We're still waiting for the release of this corner to come in. Still plenty of pushing and shoving between Burn and Torres. And now Burn goes down, and Villa have just got to be careful here. The corner comes in, glancing header off target. And they've got to be careful here, Villa, because it's clearly a shove and a pull there from Torres that brings down Burn. And I think Newcastle are a little bit unlucky not to have been given a penalty there. So it's going to be a corner to be taken from this right flank. And now we've got a bit of a war of words here between Unai Emery, one of the members of Newcastle's staff here. So it's getting a bit feisty, this game as well. Trippier with the corner. Glancing header from Lindelof. Back in possession now with Newcastle on their left-hand side. Hall to Tonali, who got the equaliser. Tries to find Burn at the far post, but can't find his man. And it's going to be a goal kick for Emi Martinez to take. It'll be fascinating to see how this game transpires here. It's just getting quite feisty now, this match. 20 minutes to go. Plus stoppage time, and if we're still at level terms, we would then go to extra time. We're still waiting for Martinez to take the goal kick. It's taken quite a while with all of these goal kick distributions since coming on here, because he came on after the red card to Marco Bizot. Now Newcastle just moving the ball just over the halfway line. Ball coming off Onana last, so Trippier will take a throw in just about 5 yards over the halfway line inside Villa's half. Now to the left flank with Hall. Looking for support here from Harvey Barnes. Now Newcastle still with the ball on this left-hand side. Just waiting for the perfect moment to pitch the delivery in. Now runs out to Shaw. Kieran Trippier. That's a nice delivery in from the right-hand side, but it's a good header away there from the Villa defence through Onana. Watkins trying to start counter-attack there from scratch there for Villa, but at the moment Newcastle have got so much of the ball, and it's hard for Villa to really break out into Newcastle's own half just at this moment in time. As further momentum grows with the visitors, Hall plays the ball out to Tonali, about 30 yards away from the goal line. Shaw could go for goal here from 20 yards out, decides not to. Plays the ball to the right wing to Kieran Trippier, now to Elanga, just trying to get the perfect moment to play the ball in here across the face of goal, but runs out of space, and Villa's defence are able to clear the ball away. Tonali receives the short throw there from Trippier, and Tonali, I think, has just been caught in the face here, but play continues. Referee doesn't give anything. Now into the 73rd minute, still Villa 1, Newcastle 1. Hall out onto the left flank. Cross comes in here, and Elanga arrives at the far post and is almost able to get the shot in. It actually ends up going back to Kieran Trippier, and Kieran Trippier blazes the ball a long, long way over the bar there by about 10 yards or so. Not one of his best ever efforts in his career. There's going to be another goal kick then for Emi Martinez to take, as Villa's defence continue to stoke up ample amounts of pressure. At the moment they're holding out. At this moment in time, we would still be heading into extra time in this FA Cup 4th round tie. So long goal kick taken again eventually by Martinez. Looking to play in Watkins, just takes a glancing header there from the England forward. Now Lewis Hall just going over the halfway line, plays the ball in. Elanga slips at just the wrong moment there. If it just stayed upright, Newcastle would have had a really decent opportunity. We've been able to have had a shot to trouble Emi Martinez, and again Villa's defence just have to make do with just conceding another throw. And there's a lot of pressure that Villa's defence are now going to have to come under here. Seeing again how Elanga slipped over just exactly the wrong time there. And that's fortuitous there, a little bit for Villa, because he could have been put clean through on goal at that point. Now Voltemade on the ball here for the visitors to Tonali, 30 yards out, chips the ball into the 18-yard area. It's headed away though by Digne. Now Elanga on this right-hand side. Ramsey back to Trippier. Now Elanga gets the delivery in, but it's hooked away by the Villa defence just in front of the near post by Pau Torres. And it looks as if Ian Maatsen and Jadon Sancho are going to be coming on soon here for Villa, sooner rather than later. But first of all, first task in hand is to defend this corner. So it's going to be a corner from the right flank here to be taken by Kieran Trippier. Trippier with the ball in here. It's a good corner. It somehow manages to evade everyone aerially. But Newcastle still with plenty of momentum, and if the ball comes into the box from Tonali, again, Villa's defence are just able to clear the ball away. Ball runs out for a throw-in. It will be Elanga to take. You just wonder, with the amount of pressure that Villa's defence is now coming under, you've got to think that Newcastle are going to have golden opportunity at some point between now and the end of regulation time here. Again, Digne just forced to clear the ball away for Villa. Trippier gets the ball before it goes out for a throw-in. Header out from the Villa defence. Sandro Tonali goes for goal and he gets the goal! It's a second goal in the game for Sandro Tonali in the 76th minute. That's an even better strike than the first one, and Newcastle edge in front for the first time in this FA Cup tie, and Villa are now 2-1 down here at home, and it's a brace of goals from Sandro Tonali that has edged Newcastle in front here, and Aston Villa are left reeling. They were 1-0 up at the interval, but the sending off of Marco Bizot has changed the dynamic of the game quite drastically, and Newcastle have taken full advantage here in this second half. Tonali was teed up nicely there by Dan Burn. I don't think there was any deflection this time around, and Sandro Tonali has given Newcastle the lead. No deflections. That was just a really nice finish there from around just over 20 yards out into the bottom corner. Beats Emi Martinez. Nothing really that Martinez could do about that one. The strike was just too good, and Newcastle are now on the brink here of reaching the last 16 of the FA Cup, and this would be a really impressive win for them to, if they can, come from behind to beat Villa at Villa Park. And now Villa, with one man down, have got to try and find a way here of somehow getting back into this game. It looks as if we're going to see some Villa changes. Ian Maatsen has come on, and Jadon Sancho has now come on as well. So it's now Villa 1, Newcastle 2. Sandro Tonali again scoring, getting on the score sheet. And he's given Newcastle the lead. And we're now into the 78th minute of the game. Villa's defence just being penned in here towards the left-hand side of their defence. Voltemade does well to keep the ball. Plays the ball now to Hall from 20 yards out. Gets the cross in, and it's headed away by Pau Torres. In the end, it will go out for a corner kick, and if Newcastle can get another goal here, that would surely kill the game off, and it would be a case of game, set and match there for the Magpies. So we're just waiting for this latest corner to come in, as Newcastle look to make a change sooner rather than later as well here. Just waiting for the game to resume. So it's a low corner that comes in quite quickly in the end. Kind of goes nowhere. Nowhere. It's a bit of a waste of a corner kick, and now Villa can go on the counter quickly. A long ball attempted to find Ian Maatsen up top, but he can't quite reach it. And Newcastle can now break free on the counter here with Anthony Elanga. Elanga looking to go past Digne. And Digne's just able to, he's forced again just to concede the throw. Nothing else really that he could do, so Newcastle will now make another substitution. Ramsey is going to be brought off, and he's going to be replaced by Joe Willock. So Joe Willock is going to come on in the 80th minute here for former Villa player Jacob Ramsey. So it's Villa 1, Newcastle 2. 10 minutes to go in this game, and Villa somehow, with one man down, need to try and find a way here of getting back onto level terms. As Willock now enters the field here for the visitors. Just waiting for the game to continue here. And that's nice to see Jacob Ramsey actually getting a really good reception here from the Villa supporters. That's really nice to see that. Jacob Ramsey came through the youth ranks at Villa, including junior years, spent a long time at the club, so that's nice to see there between Ramsey and the Villa crowd. Villa again just hurriedly trying to get a counter on the go, but end up losing possession straight away. And from Unai Emery's perspective, it'll just be a case of what if, because Villa, whilst they weren't, it was still a close game even when Villa were 1-0 up. They certainly had the better of the first half, but the sending off of Bizot really has changed the game pretty drastically. If you've not seen the footage yet, I urge you to, because it was a pretty reckless decision, to say the least, from Marco Bizot there. Saw him get the red card, probably one of the most straightforward red card decisions that you will ever see this season. As Newcastle push forward then, looking to kill this game off completely. In terms of attempts, Villa with 6, Newcastle have now had 10 overall. The Magpies now keep the ball on this left-hand side. Willock passes the ball square to Chow. Chow manages to shield the ball away from Matson expertly. Chow goes forward, passes the ball out to Gordon. Gordon linking up with Trippier. Gordon to Byrne. Hall. And to Willock. Back to Byrne. And Newcastle just passing the ball around in lovely fashion right now. They're able to keep the ball pretty easily. Now Ilanga just links up with Willock there, and that's going to be a Newcastle throw right by the corner flag on this left-hand side for the Magpies. As we're just waiting for this throw to come in. So it looks as if it's going to go long. Named right into the heart of the penalty area here from the left-back, Lewis Hall. Just drying the ball with his shirt again, just trying to get as much grip as he can, so indicates it's going to be another long throw to come in here. Throw comes in now, manages to find Byrne. Ball will run out here to Harvey Barnes, but his shot is blocked immediately. Now Ollie Watkins can feed the ball out here to Luca Digne. Now Torres to Lindelof. Still with the Villa defence, but Villa quickly running out of time. Now into the 83rd minute of the game to Digne, just over the halfway line. Now with Sancho. Unana, back to Sancho. Matson. Digne, just on this left-hand side. Back to Matson. Just looking for the right opportunity here to get the delivery in. Newcastle's defence just coming under pressure here. Finally, Sancho plays the ball in, and it's just cleared away by Chow, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's just really the first moment of this second half where Newcastle's defence has actually come under some pressure there. That was heading in as well from Sancho. It was a good effort there, curling effort from the edge of the box, and Dan Byrne just urging his Newcastle players here to just stay concentrated, because the cup tie is still not over. And so it's going to be a corner now on this left-hand side for Aston Villa. Can Villa find a way back into this game despite being one man down? Probably set pieces are going to be the best way in order to go about doing that. So Luca Digne out-swinging corner with his left foot here. Glancing header from a Villa player, but it'll be cleared away by Ilanga, but only as far as Bogard. Now Matson Tries to play the ball onto Villa's left-hand side. It's getting really, really scrappy now, but Villa maintain possession inside Newcastle's half. Sancho trying to get past Voltemade. Sancho still has possession. Passes square to his right-hand side. Now to Digne. Buendia. Back to Digne on this left-hand side. Can get the delivery in. Manages to find a Villa player here, and Ollie Watkins just can't get enough space, though, to get the shot in. Digne again, that's a nice ball into Buendia. Buendia on from the byline. It comes off Tonali last. It's going to be another corner kick here for Villa on this left-hand side. And Villa, despite being one man down, are still piling on the pressure in the latter stages of this game here, looking to try and rescue this match and take this cup tie into extra time. This is a valiant effort from the hosts just within the last 10 minutes or so. So Luca Digne with the corner delivery here, and it's cleared away though by the Newcastle defence, although then it's a slice clearance there from Kieran Trippier, bizarre fashion, and he's ended up giving another corner kick here to the hosts. Not sure what he was thinking there, so it's going to be another corner then to Aston Villa. On this right-hand side now, it's going to be Luca Digne to take once more. Takes short this time to Sancho. Sancho brings the ball up to the byline, cuts past one man, and passes back to Digne. Digne with the delivery in here, and it's Dan Burn that manages to get a vital header. But possession is back with Villa. Now Lindelof on this left-hand side. Plays the ball into a good area, but Ollie Watkins can't chase the ball down before the ball goes over the touchline. It's going to be a welcome goal kick now for Aaron Ramsdale to take, but did it actually just come off a Newcastle player last here? Don't think it did, so I think it still should be a goal kick for Newcastle to take. So it's still Villa 1, Newcastle 2, and it's a second half brace from Sandro Tonali that has put Newcastle in front after falling behind early on in the first half to a Tammy Abraham goal. As Eddie Howe watches on. So we're into the 87th minute of the game now. Long ball played in from Newcastle on that left-hand side, but Lindelof will just feed the ball back to Martinez. Long ball from the goalkeeper. Glancing header from Watkins. Tries to find Matston, who's playing a much more forward role than usual. Matston can't get to the ball before Ramsdale, though. Newcastle looking to shield the ball with Joe Willock, trying to steal the ball ahead of Digne. Villa keep the ball in play though, with Watkins to Luca Digne. Tonali is able to get in the right place at the right time just to make a vital interception, and now Anthony Elanga's got space to move into a great position here. Elanga moves the ball forward. It's a heavy touch from Harvey Barnes, but he's still able to keep the ball in play. That's good defending there from Lamar Bogard. Villa are able to withstand that latest Newcastle attack. That's a poor ball though from the Villa defence. They're in a lot of trouble here, and Nick Voltemade has scored for Newcastle from poor Villa defending. Nick Voltemade takes full advantage, and that is game, set and match here at Villa Park. Newcastle United are into the 5th round of the FA Cup. Villa fall at the last 32 stage, surely. They're now 2 goals down as we move into the 89th minute here, and it's Nick Voltemade that puts Newcastle 3-1 in front, and surely there's no way back for 10-man Villa now. It was a poor pass. Who was it there? It was Lamar Bogard. Tries to find Onana, goes nowhere near him, and Nick Voltemade says thank you very much and finds the top corner here. Has to say it's dreadful Villa defending, and it's going to be Newcastle United then that end up going into the last 16 and into the 5th round. As we just start to move in towards the 90th minute now, and surely there's just too much to do from Aston Villa's perspective. It's just been a bit of a nightmare second half, basically ever since the moment when Marco Bizot got himself sent off. The dynamic of the game has changed drastically, because Villa overall in the first half were, I think, certainly the better team. It was still a fairly tight game, but Villa had the better of it. But the sending off has changed things drastically, and the visitors have taken full advantage. So Nick Voltemade with Newcastle's third goal of the night, scoring in the 88th minute. And Newcastle surely now are going to advance into the 5th round and the last 16 of the FA Cup. So Villa, who got to the semi-finals of last year's FA Cup competition, surely now they're heading out at this relatively early stage. They're trying everything they can though. Bogard to Ollie Watkins just inside the 18-yard box. Now to Jadon Sancho on this right-hand side. Bogard back to Sancho. Just cuts in onto his left foot here. That's really good play there from Sancho. Tries to play the ball into Emi Buendia, but just can't quite find him. Good defending there from Dan Burn. As we're just about to find out how much stoppage time we're going to get here. So the 4th official now just emerging, so we'll be finding out exactly how much time we've got. As the Newcastle fans in full voice here at Villa Park. Sandro Tonali, by the way, has been officially awarded the player of the match for this game. So we've got 4 minutes of stoppage time to go, and we're 30 seconds of the way through that first minute. So 3.5 minutes to go then. Villa 1, Newcastle 3 in this FA Cup 4th round tie here. Newcastle, who eliminated Bournemouth in the previous round on penalties after a 3-3 draw after extra time, but surely as plenty of Villa fans now exit the stadium, there's going to be no need for extra time in this cup tie. That's 2 Premier League opponents that they'll have gone past, and I'm pretty sure the 5th round draw will take place on Monday evening. Newcastle, who have not won the FA Cup since 1955. We're just waiting for the game to continue. Not too sure why we've got a bit of a break here. Okay, so we've just got a Villa player down. It's Emi Buendia that's gone down. And that's why we've just got this break here. But you can tell the game has now just, as a contest, it has now pretty much stopped. Newcastle right on the brink here of advancing to this next stage of the competition. And the Newcastle away support in full voice right now as well. And just slight apologies here. We've just got some slight technical issues just from our side. Just try and get things back underway as soon as we can. And we're now back okay. Sorry about that slight loss there. So just under 2 minutes to go then. Emi Buendia is now okay to continue. And Newcastle looking to go on latest attack and rub further salt into the wounds here of Aston Villa. Now with Gordon to Voltemade, we've got the most recent goal, Newcastle's 3rd, after a poor pass from the defence from Lamar Bogard. Voltemade, just a string of 1-2s there with Gordon. Willock, back to Gordon, who's about 10 yards over the halfway line. Now to Chow. Quick 1-2 with Hall. It's now on the right hand side for the visitors. Burn to Gordon again on this left hand side. Voltemade just coming under pressure there from Buendia, who is okay. He did take a bit of a knock there a couple of minutes ago, but he is fine to continue. So just under a minute to go then. Villa 1,